I'm MC2, the worst rapper in the world, and I hope you enjoyed a little bit of headbanging there, because I know that Austin was enjoying some headbanging there. And give me a second, I gotta get them on the screen just right so that they look as glorious as they can. And there we go. Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
Doing all right.
All right. So, this is a debate between Skeptic Dank and Witsit Gets It. The format is simple. Everybody gets an opening, 5 minutes, and then an open discussion. And we will save all super chats till afterwards. I'm not going to interrupt with any. I ask that you all be polite in the chat, and mods, I'm able to spend a little more time looking at the chat, so don't be getting too anxious on stuff. I can handle stuff a little more than usual. So, who is going to go first?
Since the globe Earth has the burden of proof, we'll let him take it away.
Oh, you already made a claim. Ooh, there we go. All right. Well, what do you say, Skeptic Dank?
All right. Well, let's see how much of this we can get through in 5 minutes. But I think we want to start out strong with Mage 2. If you want to pull up that one picture.
Okay.
So one of the first claims.
Be just a second here. Just keep talking. I'll get it prepped.
So one of the first claims that a lot of flat earthers make is that there's never been observed curvature, which is very much untrue. There are probably thousands of pictures of curvature. They just dismiss them all as either CGI or a fisheye lens, which this is why Mr. Sensible sent up a balloon up to about, I believe it was 38 kilometers. And if I have that right. But using a narrow angle lens, so not a wide angle lens, and he has these two taut strings across the screen to show that there is not any distortion going on. And from up there, he got there is definitely curvature in that picture. Now, see, I have heard some people say, oh, maybe that was just the edge of the disc, and which also doesn't work, because in the video, it actually swings around. You get a good 360 degrees of view, and the entire area is lit up. If that was all the way to the edge of the disc, you should expect to see some part of that in nighttime. Let's see, we got, and it's definitely not CGI, because he has the entire balloon trip in a video on his channel. One of them is completely uncut, and it's like 3 hours long. All right, now we also have, if you can pull up the Black Swan. A lot of flat earthers use this as evidence, because, oh, we see too far. Now, sure, we see too far if you don't factor in refraction, which they often just hand wave away. But as you can see, we have on the top is the one that they like to use, and that was under conditions that had high refraction. And then on the bottom is another one from the same spot that has conditions with lower refraction. You can see from the poles and stuff that are coming off of there, they're not as distorted. Like in the top, they look all wavy. So that is more representative of the drop from curvature we'd expect to see. But refraction is always at play. If it is in atmosphere, there is refraction happening. Now, let's see. A lot of times they also say for the bottom up, how things disappear from the bottom up, their argument they like to use is the angular resolution. But the problem with that is, while yes, we have an angular resolution limit in our eyes, first of all, for things to disappear from the bottom up, they seem to think that that field of angular resolution would be like a wedge shape when it would actually be more of a cone shape. Things don't disappear, converging together across a line. They disappear converging into a point. Now, also another thing, if things were disappearing due to angular resolution, they should be able to come back if you use a lens with a higher angular resolution. But instead, when you have something like this, as long as it's taken from the same spot on the same day under the same conditions, you will never bring, say, that oil rig, for example, back up over the horizon, no matter how high of an angular resolution camera you use. All right. The next one, we got star trails. Now, they like to use things like, oh, Polaris doesn't move, and therefore, it means that we are stationary. So
which one were you wanting to see on that?
Let's see. Just a second here, because I got one. I didn't get a picture for this one, but the star trails, they're always perfectly circular, no matter where you are. Now, if we were under a dome, seeing that, if you were right on the North Pole looking straight up, yes, it would be a perfect circle. But further away you would go, the further south you would go, and looking at Polaris, you shouldn't see it still as a perfect circle anymore. It should, at some, at a certain point, like the further you go, that star trail should become more and more oblong, because you're looking at it from an angle, not straight on anymore. However, what we see looks more like we are still looking at that star trail circle straight on, until you get to the equator, in which that has now gone down to the horizon. And if you go beyond the equator, it is now below the horizon. Even though you should be able to see all the way to the edge of the dome, you should still be able to see Polaris. Now, okay, if you want to pull up the triangulation picture. So
The isosceles triangle?
this would be the right triangles, the two of them.
Polaris 60 and 30.
Yeah, so
okay.
You might, a lot of times they say, oh, it's because perspective, because things appear lower the further away you are. And the beauty of that is we can calculate that exactly how high or low it should be the further you get. Now this one is so this one would be, if you are 4,136 miles away from the poles, you would see Polaris at about 60 degrees. Now, you can go out and test this. If you can see Polaris right now, and if you have a sextant or anything that you can measure the angle of, go ahead and prove me wrong on these measurements, because this is what they use. This is what they've been using for navigation for hundreds and hundreds of years. So we know that that is the angle you will see Polaris at that latitude. So if you calculate that as a triangle, assuming a flat Earth, then you can calculate the height. The height should be about 3,581 miles away, or high for Polaris. But if you go you go to the next one. If you then move to what is it, 2,387.9 miles away, you would see Polaris at about 30 degrees. Now that should end up that ends up making an entirely different calculation for the height, putting it at more like 2,387. that that number should stay constant if Polaris doesn't magically get further away from Earth just because you moved south. That has to stay the same. So, but yet, if you were to put this into globe calculations, it becomes exactly what we would expect to see. Because it always matches, the degree from the North Pole is the same degree that you're going to see Polaris at. That should not be how it works on flat Earth. Now, if you can go to
that's about 5 minutes.
All right. I did have a couple more things. Now, Austin, do you want? I can give it to you, or I could keep going and then just give you an equal amount of time. I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
We didn't hear you, Austin.
Yeah. I still didn't hear anything.
Yeah, you're muting and unmuting yourself, but
still nothing.
Can you hear me now?
There we go.
Yeah, now I hear you.
We're just gonna use the MacBook Pro, whatever. All right. No, you've done enough, bro. You've done enough.
Okay. I might still try to bring up some of the other stuff I got later, but
I'll put it in the chamber, bro.
No,
all right. Go ahead, Austin.
All right.
See if they can talk over me because I'm using the MacBook Pro. All right. Anyway, just put your other pseudoscience in the chamber. So what you started off with was talking about some picture of an apparent location. From what altitude was that?
I want to say it was.
Don't even worry.
I want to say it was 38 kilometers. That is considerably higher than any commercial airliner ever flies.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to ask you a question. This is my opener. All right, so all the Globe Earth does is reify their belief system, and we're going to prove this with everything that he just said. So for starters, he says that looking at Polaris, and then it just matches the perfect angle assumed on the globe. Well, what happened, bro, and you said it in your own opener, was that they've been using this for thousands of years to navigate, right? So they've taken what's been known, the consistent location of Polaris and the cyclical nature of the sky, right, which is how we navigate, and then they've reverse engineered it based on an assumption of the Earth being a ball hundreds and hundreds of years after they've already been using that for a ton of time. So somehow you presupposing the Earth's a ball, presupposing the dimensions, then taking the presupposed dimensions, then looking at the sky and reverse engineering those dimensions based on the sky that never moves, somehow proves the Earth's a ball because the numbers match with the sky. Dude, they came from the sky, bro. Okay, then you went to the black swan and you said that we see too far. That isn't even the black swan argument. So you brought up a flat Earth argument yet to even comprehend it. The black swan argument is the fact that we have decapitated the assumption that there's a physical sphere edge that obstructs your view, right? So what we are seeing in the black swan is not a physical location, is not a geometric horizon that is a physical, tangible obstruction. It is actually an apparent location. This is why it constantly fluctuates based on atmospheric conditions and observer height. So the actual black swan argument is that from 1 foot off the surface of the Earth, we would have to see the curvature of the Earth at 1.225 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. So 1 foot would be 1.2 miles away. But yet 1 foot off the surface of the Earth, we actually saw the horizon further than 10 miles away, requiring the radius value be over 264,000 miles, as opposed to your presupposed fairy tale that claims that it's 3,959 miles. So you're going to have to establish that we have a physical geometric horizon, which goes back to your first postulation, your little image where you said that you saw the Earth's curvature, but you just took a picture of an apparent location. And if you went to that same distance and at the same altitude the next day, it wouldn't be exactly the same. And in fact, of course, all lenses do impose curvature. It doesn't matter if it's a wide angle lens or not. You should have researched that. So the actual problem here is you have to offer empirical, verifiable evidence that there is a consistent Earth curvature location that is a physical obstruction. That's what it comes down to. So all you did was take a picture of an apparent location, then you pulled up a black swan image and then a picture on another day where the apparent location has fluctuated. Welcome to flat Earth. That's our argument. It's just an apparent location that constantly fluctuates. You, out of necessity, must claim there is a physical, literal, tangible location called the geometric horizon, which there is not. Every single time it moves, we win. Welcome to flat Earth. Shirts in the back, bro. Snacks on the way. So you didn't do anything for the globe Earth in that entire opener. So you should have prepared for this more. Dude, Black Swan has been around for over a year, and the Globers have yet to even fully understand it. It still eludes the grasp of the globe Earthers. So it's very simple. If the Earth's a ball with a radius value of 3,959 miles and a circumference of 24,901 miles at the equator, we will see the curvature of the Earth at 1.225 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. There will be a physical, literal location that the Earth curves away from you, blocking your view. But we do not see this, my man. 1 foot off the surface of the Earth, we see the horizon over 10 miles. As soon as you invoke refraction, which is a term void of any specificity, you have to specify what type of refraction. First of all, refraction is a phenomenon that we do know about, right? We use Snell's law, but when we apply it to the atmosphere, which is a single medium, because Snell's law is about one medium to another medium, we have to use a differential of Snell's law. Yeah. Objectively, the subject matter experts on your side know that you have to use a differential equation, if you know what that is while you're shaking your head, a differential of Snell's law, because it's a singular medium, not a homogeneous medium, but a singular medium with fluctuation within that medium. Okay. So refraction is a generalized term. You have to actually, specify what type of refraction. But I'll tell you what you have to invoke, since you don't know. It's called terrestrial refraction. That's what you have to invoke. Okay. As soon as you invoke terrestrial refraction, which the equation requires 7/6R, that is a begging the question fallacy, because what is in contention is the R value. You don't just get to arbitrarily fluctuate the R value that's in contention, begging the question and reifying it, and then say this proves that the R value is real. That's laughable. In addition to that, if you do use that and it's a category error and a begging the question fallacy, it still doesn't help you, because it only extends the horizon just a small bit, and you actually have to extend it all the way to 10 miles. So terrestrial refraction doesn't help you. That's the only type of refraction that you can invoke, because what is in contention is the actual terrain itself, the terra firma. That's why it's called terrestrial refraction. So very simply, we've falsified the radius value. You're going to have to make the claim that we see a consistent geometric horizon that's necessitated based on your geometric claim of the radius value, which we never see. So every time it fluctuates, welcome to flat Earth. That means it's an apparent location, not a physical, actual location. So where did we even get the geometric horizon? Do we never see the geometric horizon? Then how do we get it in the first place? How do we know the Earth's curving? Where did we get the R value? You're going to have to answer these questions. Yeah, you had to go first because the burden of proof is on you, and you obviously have not substantiated your claim in any way. So we've falsified the notion that the Earth is curving convexly in all directions at the rate that you claim that it is. There's no proof for axial rotation. You claim there's a pressurized system adjacent to a near perfect vacuum of 10 to the negative 17 torr. This is in direct contradiction to the second law of thermodynamics. That's a natural law. So if you know what natural laws are, they just happen all the time. Humans didn't come up with them. We just observe them. They're reoccurring. They're inevitable. You cannot postulate theoretical conceptual abstractions like general relativity, which is a reification fallacy, and it be antithetical to natural law, because natural law is proven. It's 100% true. A theory doesn't get to override it being antithetical to it. So you claim that space and time bend and warp based on the displacement of mass and causing a gravity well actually causes gravity to be contained, even though it doesn't where it's the closest to the center of mass. So we have a problem here, because we have a pressurized system adjacent to a near perfect vacuum, but the antecedent to pressure is containment. So you have tons of problems here. We're going to need you to address them with some specificity. Let's start with the fact that you don't have any evidence for the geometric horizon, which is the very crux of this whole issue. Is the Earth curving? Well, do we ever see the curvature of the Earth? And if we never see it, how do we know it's there?
I would go back again to the Mage 2 thing. We definitely have seen the curvature of the Earth. Now, you mentioned that there's always barrel distortion in a camera lens. That is true, but if you can go back to that picture from Mage 2, those two lines that are going through, the top and bottom third of the screen, those are there. Those are there to show that there is negligible distortion happening. Yet,
so is this the geometric horizon?
Still curvature happening in between them.
Okay, is this the geometric horizon?
There would be significant, there would be very little refraction happening from here, because this is way up. The atmosphere would be very thin from this.
All right, bro. This is a yes or no question. Is that the geometric horizon?
You will never actually see the actual geometric horizon as long as there is an atmosphere.
Okay,
that is one thing that you're still getting wrong, is that
no, don't tell me what I'm getting wrong, bro. That's called a straw man fallacy. Okay, this is your claim. You're claiming the Earth's a ball because NASA told you it was, so we're going to talk about it. You just now said this is Earth curvature, but then you said it wasn't the geometric horizon because you will never see it. So to clarify for the audience, we have never seen the geometric horizon. Is that correct?
Technically, yes, but as I said, from the altitude where this was taken, the refraction would be so negligible that this basically be indistinguishable.
I don't
from
need your
geometric
subjective
horizon.
anecdotes about what's negligible or what we can count or not. Just you admitting that we never have actually seen the literal location of the Earth curvature, right? So how do you know it's curving?
From that height, the geometric horizon and what we see from the negligible amount of refraction that would have been happening, the geometric and apparent horizons would be so close you would not be able to distinguish them. So
That's
you
called a
you
reification
effectively
fallacy.
are seeing the geometric horizon there.
No, you're effectively begging the question there. So where is the geometric horizon in that picture? Since we don't see it, where is it at?
It would be roughly in that spot where you can kind of see it fades a little bit because of clouds. So it's not a perfectly hard line there, but the geometric horizon would be pretty much like almost exactly.
Oh, how far away is that curvature there?
I mean, we could calculate it. I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but we can take the we could take the altitude that it was taken from and plug it into a calculator there. And
okay, so time out. This isn't a
exactly
measurement of Earth. This isn't a measurement of Earth curvature then, because you don't even know the distance to the supposed curvature, and you're admitting it's not the actual curvature, it's the apparent location. Because if it isn't a physical actual location, it literally has to be an apparent location, and you don't even know how far away it is, but it has to be a certain distance based on the certain size claim you make, right?
Well, that doesn't change the fact that there's still observed curvature there.
Yeah, but
you don't have to have the specific numbers to see that there is curvature in that picture.
No, you have to specify exactly what your claim is. I'll do it for you. You claim a radius value of 3,959 miles. That means the Earth has to curve at a certain distance. Are you claiming that this is the Earth curvature consistent with that radius value?
I am claiming that there is observable curvature in that picture.
Okay, just once again, Malman, for one, just for the audience, and he'll just hand wave this and throw everyone under the bus, but some of the top people on your side, like the people over the world's biggest planetarium, say you can't see the curvature of the Earth from 252 miles, the supposed distance from the ISS. You can't see it from 128,000 feet, according to Neil deGrasse Tyson. But this guy knows more than the people that 99% of the Earth was told to believe when it comes to whether or not we live on a magic spinning cartoon ball. Random people on YouTube, right? They get to throw all the propped up scientific communicators under the bus. So just to clarify, because I don't want to straw man you, is Neil deGrasse Tyson and the head of the world's biggest planetary wrong when they say you can't see the curvature from 128,000 feet and 252 miles?
Well, that all depends on your angle of view. Now, there was a time when Neil deGrasse Tyson was slightly wrong about I'm pretty sure I know the exact quote you're talking about, where he was talking about a certain height, saying that horizon should look flat. He was also comparing it to the wide angle lens it was used in that picture, and he was saying, like, that is not the amount of curvature we would see.
Don't lie. Don't lie, bro. This is what he actually said. They were talking about the Felix Baumgartner jump, which was actually sponsored by GoPro, which is of course a fisheye lens, and they showed us this immense curvature and said this dude jumped from the edge of space, because they lied to the world constantly saying the Earth's a ball. I don't know if you caught up to that, but I don't know why they would have to drastically alter the image and claim that it was what it really looked like until we busted them with high altitude footage. But I digress. He gets on stage after that as a way to try to walk it back, and he says from 128,000 feet, not just subjectively based on the actual dimensions of the Earth according to your model, you wouldn't see the curvature from 128,000 feet, much higher than this little picture you took. So are you saying that he's wrong when he says you would never see the curvature from 128,000 feet? He uses a beach ball as an illustration, saying we'd be 2 millimeters off the edge of this beach ball. So just to clarify, the guy that's propped up to the whole world to tell us how space works, and he's supposedly a main scientific communicator, you're smarter than him, McToon's smarter than him, all the Globers on the internet, just on random YouTube channels, are smarter than him, but they still prop it up and tell the rest of the world that this guy is their leader. So just to clarify, specifically, answer yes or no, is Neil deGrasse Tyson wrong when he says you will never see curvature from 128,000 feet?
Yes.
Okay. Is the head of the planetarium, that the world's biggest planetarium, that says you would never see curvature from the ISS at 252 miles, is he wrong?
I would like to see that, because and again, what I'm trying to get through to you here is
I'm not trying to get yes or no questions.
It's not just about altitude, it's also about your angle of view. If you only have a small window, it's a lot harder to see curvature through that window.
You agree that your window increases with altitude?
No, the
Oh.
amount of window that you would need to see curvature decreases with altitude.
So you're saying you can't see more when you get higher?
No, I'm saying you can. I'm saying, in fact, that is exactly what.
So your field of view increases proportionate to altitude.
I'm talking about like your field of view through, say, if you're looking through a window or a camera lens. You need a wider field of view if you are lower, but you don't need as wide of a field the higher you go.
Okay, so can we see curvature from the ISS, or is the head of the world's biggest planetarium right or wrong? Is he wrong, or are you wrong?
I would want to see the exact quote on there, because
well, it's simple, man.
You can absolutely see curvature from the ISS.
Okay.
It is not as
So
pronounced as what you seem to think that.
No, I'm gonna ask here. So far, you've provided absolutely nothing, Austin. So if you think that Neil deGrasse Tyson claimed,
shut up, bro. Shut up, bro.
If you're claiming that Neil deGrasse Tyson said something about seeing the curve from the ISS,
you're moderating, not debating. You're not debating.
I'm asking you. I'm holding your feet to the fire here.
All right.
So you're making a claim.
I will share screen and show your messages right now if you don't stop. I agree to this debate based on the parameters that McToon.
You're making clear. You're making a clear claim here,
You're interrupting, McToon. Hey, I'm talking. Okay. I agree to this based on the parameters that McToon would not interrupt and try to debate for this guy and try to moderate. Only moderating, no muting, no interrupting, and no debating for him. You helped him out in his opener because he couldn't get the words out. Then you've interrupted a second time. You're not debating me. I've dismantled you thoroughly numerous times. I'm debating.
Fine. Go ahead. Continue your no evidence string.
All right. So, hey, go on mute. Go on mute, Mr. Moderator.
Go ahead.
Hey, okay, back to the Seth guy that I'm debating, okay? Seth, you are saying that Neil deGrasse Tyson's wrong and that the head of the world's biggest planetarium is wrong. So then we'll just throw them under the bus, and you on YouTube, you know more than them, even though this is what the whole world was shown to believe, that we live on a magic spinning cartoon ball. So we'll just go with you as the new authority because we'll throw them out the window. So when we see this supposed curvature, you agree it's just the apparent location, right?
If you're talking about the distance to the horizon, that is just apparent, yes, because there is always an atmosphere there, so there will always be refraction that will slightly change it, more or less, depending on the conditions.
Okay.
When we're talking about the axis of seeing that curvature, now the refraction part, we're talking about seeing curvature over the edge. Now, if we're talking about seeing the curvature this way, that is the one that's not the same calculation as going by apparent horizon.
Wait, stop. One at a time. Slow down, man. Okay. Do we ever see the geometric horizon? You said no. So if we have never seen the geometric horizon, how do we know it's there?
I mean, we could see it if we sucked the entire atmosphere off of the Earth, but
did you hear my question? I'll ask it again. If we've never seen the geometric horizon, how do we know that it is there?
Because it is there. The apparent horizon is just a slight shift of that. Now, there are other ways that we can calculate.
How do we know that it's there, bro?
There are other ways to calculate it.
But calculations, I've seen a calculation of Superman's flight path. Superman doesn't exist, bro. Neither does your Earth curvature. So if we've never seen the geometric horizon, how did you discover it was there?
Well, we can use Polaris as a really good one because, as we know, that one has a fixed location above the North Pole. And
I thought we were talking about the Earth, not the sky, bro. We're not talking about Polaris. We're talking about measuring the geometric horizon. If you don't know that you've ever seen it, how do you know it's there?
Do you not understand how you can calculate this using the apparent angle of things in the sky?
The apparent, you said it, the apparent angle presupposing sphericity, which is the very thing in contention, which is why none of these clown shows I mentioned earlier would ever debate me or any of these flat earthers, because they would have to be intellectually honest while you just run around scattergunning fallacies that are literally inadmissible in any intellectual exchange. So we're going to run it back a little bit. Don't beg the question and just say that I can calculate it based on the assumption that the Earth's a sphere. How do you know that there's a curvature of Earth if we've never seen it ever?
It doesn't have to be based on the assumption that the Earth is a sphere. In fact, the right triangles that I was showing, those were on the assumption that the Earth is flat. And doing those calculations, they do not line up. We can so if you assume a flat Earth and try to calculate the height of Polaris using the angles that you see from the known angles that we see Polaris from on different parts of the Earth, it does not line up with the flat Earth.
Okay. So to clarify,
hey, stop interrupting. He wasn't done talking.
Oh my gosh! Shut up, McKean.
Stop talking,
bro.
Stop talking.
It does line up with a sphere Earth. Now,
He just gets to Okay. So anyway, Seth, we're talking about the Earth's curvature, not the sky. Can we stay on point, or would you like to admit you don't know how you've ever noticed that there's actually Earth curvature? Have we ever seen it?
How do you not understand how you can calculate this?
If I look at the sky, I'm not seeing the geometric horizon. I'm not asking you about calculations. We'll move on to your calculation once you're honest. For
we can calculate R using the sky.
No, you have to
presuppose
sphericity,
the angle from which Polaris will always be seen.
Yeah, and if you presuppose sphericity, then you can reverse engineer dimension claims. I'm asking you, how do you know?
But if you presuppose flatness, the calculations fall apart. Why is that?
Hey, if we've never seen the geometric horizon, then we don't know that there is a geometric horizon. So when you point to the sky saying, we know there's one, I'm going to calculate it, that doesn't prove that there is one. So
the thing is, there has to be a geometric horizon. There has to be a geometric horizon for there to be an apparent horizon.
Okay, so the horizon being apparent is redundant. Okay, it's painfully redundant. The horizon is where the sky appears to meet the ground. Appears, that means apparent. Apparent horizon is redundant. The horizon is always apparent. You're making an additional claim to this.
I mean, if you're going to go there, literally everything you will ever see is apparent.
4 straight times. You're a gamma, McToon. We all know that you're clearly spiraling for the globe right now. Seth, stop interrupting me. I'm trying to get the point out, okay? If the Earth is a ball, it has to curve at a certain rate. There has to be a geometric horizon. The horizon's where the sky appears to meet the ground. That's apparent. You're making an additional claim to that. You're claiming there's a physical, tangible location called the geometric horizon, but that we never see it. We just know it's there. So I'm going to look at the sky and reverse engineer calculations. So would you like to concede that you've never seen the geometric horizon? There's no physical measurement for the geometric horizon, and you have to look up at the sky and assume that it's there.
I don't think you know what reverse engineering means.
So you can't answer any of the questions. You're getting dismantled. See, bro.
When you're talking about reverse engineering, that's just calculations.
That's the point.
Calculations are pretty reliable when they're repeatable. When you can use them to make predictions. Are you just going to hand wave away math?
My man, I know that you're spiraling and really embarrassed right now. It's not a prediction if you came up with the calculations after the observation. It's called a post-diction. So you looked at the sky, then you made up calculations. Now you on YouTube, looking like a real loser right now, are running around with the calculations saying, look, it matches the sky. Of course it does. You made the calculations from the observation in the sky. Can we get back to the Earth? Is it curving? Can you admit that you've never seen it?
You're still missing my point, though. When I do that same thing, but then use calculations using a flat Earth, it doesn't work. When we use the calculations of the things that we can see in the sky and then use calculations based on a flat Earth and try to calculate the distance and angle of Polaris from different locations, it doesn't work.
Okay,
now I'm use 2 locations to triangulate the height to Polaris, and you can get it, and you'll get a number there. And then if you change one of the locations, it will change the height of Polaris.
All right, my friend, I'm happy to talk about Polaris. You don't even understand it. I'm about to decapitate that. I know you think I don't know how to respond to it. I'm not playing your game. You're diverting. So I'll move on to your stupid comment about Polaris once you stop diverting. Would you like to concede you don't have a physical measurement of the geometric horizon on Earth?
I mean, that, again, you're not getting how you can
yes or no, bro.
Calculate that using Polaris.
No. Stop talking about. Would you like to concede that we don't have a physical measurement of the geometric horizon on the Earth? Yes or no?
think he froze.
Convenient timing, bro.
Well, I'll say it right now. We don't have a physical
I'm sorry,
measurement.
you cut off for
It's okay.
you
there
cut
you go.
off for a minute there. I think I'm back now, though.
Yeah, you're back.
Okay.
You froze to us.
Okay. Yeah.
You froze on your yes or no part. You're supposed to yes or no this. I'll repeat the question just in case some of the Globers forget it. I know that sometimes they forget things. So would you like to concede that we don't have a physical measurement of the geometric horizon on the Earth? Yes or no?
I mean, we do. There's ways you can do it. What I'm saying is you can use things in the sky to do it, and you don't seem to understand
So you don't seem to
that
understand what
works.
physical measurement means. Do you know what physical measurement means?
If you want to take the angle of the sun or the stars, or again, how are you not understanding how you can use these things to calculate the radius of the Earth? It's not that hard if you have the most basic understanding.
Stop self-projecting your intellectual insecurity. I'm going to dispose of you right now. Do you know the difference in calculation and measurement?
I mean, they kind of go together.
Are they the same thing?
There is some difference in how you get them, but you can use a calculation. You can take a measurement, and if you have a few different known measurements and make a calculation with them.
Oh, we need the known measurements part.
Measurement.
We need the known measurements part. So what's the difference in the measurements and the calculations, and where is the known measurement? You just now conceded that in order to invoke your calculations, making fairy tales up about the sky, you have to have known measurements. Where are those at?
The measurements that we've been using for hundreds of years to navigate. Again, we know what the angle of Polaris will be from certain.
Oh my gosh!
That we know what the angle of the sun will be from different latitudes at different times. That
this is actually baffling. Effectively, I don't even know what. Do you know that measurements and calculations are different? I'm asking you for physical, empirical evidence that we can locally verify on the Earth without believing your fairy tales about the sky. So we need a physical measurement. Calculations and measurements aren't the same thing. I asked you what the difference is. You said, well, you got to have
together.
You said that you have to have measurements first, and then you get calculations. You're right for once in this debate. So where's the physical measurement of the Earth curvature?
Again, you can kind of, you take the measurements of, again, let's say angles in the sky.
Oh my God.
You make calculations with them to get your measurement of curvature.
Okay, wait. Let me rephrase it for you so we know that there's no way you're not understanding. Okay, apparently I'm making a little bit of assumptions of comprehension here. Can you give me a physical measurement of the Earth's curvature without the sky?
Well, let's see. There's there's ways you can do it, but you're still just going to get you're still going to have to factor in refraction. Now you could do it, say, if you had something really, really tall that was very far away, and you could take the amount of obstruction that was there, but you're still going to have.
That's not a measurement. That's not a measurement.
But if you also know that definitely would be a measurement.
No. Let me explain it to you.
Hold on. No, shut up a second. This would be a measurement. If you can take, let's say, a very, very, very tall building off in the distance, and let's say the bottom half of it is obscured. You can calculate that amount that's missing, but you're also going to have to use the refractive index of that specific time.
So that's an apparent
location.
obstruction that fluctuates day to day based on atmospheric conditions, which is also, once again, a flat earth proof, because we say the horizon is just apparent. You claim that there's an additional claim to that. There's a physical location. Let's go back to your diversion attempts.
You need to have a geometric horizon for there to be an apparent horizon.
Dude, you're not wiggling out of this. Okay, so the way that you physically measure things is you physically measure them, dude. You don't look over distances and make assumptions about what the obstruction is, and then you take a window of average, a mean, a weighted mean based on the obstruction that it appears to be fluctuating through atmospheric conditions. Okay, that is nothing to do with physical measurements. Do you have a physical measurement of the Earth's curvature, yes or no?
I mean, do you want me to take a several miles long tape measure and just do it that way? Because apparently that's the only way that you know how to take measurements.
Okay, so do you know what plane survey data is?
Are you talking about like surveyors?
250 miles.
Okay, go on with what
Yeah, plane survey data, like actually measuring the Earth, right? That's what they do. They measure the Earth. Okay, now you're claiming the Earth's curving, but whenever we actually measure the Earth, we have to assume that it's not curving, and then you have to compile a bunch of plane survey data together, then make observations, take a window of error, throw out all the other observations that don't match your presupposition, right? And you take a little weighted mean window, and then you take a fluctuation of this atmospheric conditions resulting in an apparent location that fluctuates, and assume the Earth's a ball. So the answer is objectively, there is literally not one single physical measurement of Earth curvature. So why can't you just be honest and say that?
So when you say that they assume flatness in the plane survey data calculations, what do you mean by that? What kinds of things are they surveying? Because
The land,
I know
bro.
that there are, when surveyors do certain things, if they don't need if it's a short enough distance that they don't really need to factor in curvature, then yeah, that's an approximation.
That's a cool
It'll be
assumption
very,
and
very
baseless
close.
assertion, dude. You're
But
just making baseless
they
assertion.
do use calculations of curvature over long distances.
No, they don't. That's wrong. I know many of them in real life.
No, they definitely do.
No, they literally do not. I know many. I know numerous engineers, one sitting right here. So the truth of the matter is that they assume the Earth's flat. You know why? Because it's flat, and you can't measure it assuming that it's a ball. So then they take plane survey data, they compile the data, then they make observations over long distances, and they take a fluctuation of the apparent location. They throw out anything without being inside the window of the assumed dimensions of the ball Earth, and then they assume the Earth's a ball. They reify the Earth being a ball, and that's not a physical measurement. That's a calculation based on observations of apparent locations. So objectively, the answer is there is no physical measurement of Earth curvature, bro.
And yet we have observations of it.
Yeah, because you have observations of a fluctuation of the horizon. You just told me that we never see the Earth's curvature. Now you're saying we have observations of it?
I never said that we don't see Earth's curvature. I said we don't see where the actual geometric horizon is,
That's
because
called
the
that's what the
refraction
Earth's
will
curvature
always
is.
slightly change it.
That's
You
what the
can
Earth's
still
curvature
see that it's curved.
No. The Earth's curvature is the geometric horizon, bro. And it has to be
Not quite.
No. Objectively, the geometric horizon is the Earth curvature. That's the tangent point of the sphere, bro. That's
But you can
objective.
still see.
You don't know your own
curvature.
religion, bro. Why'd you come here, dude? So based on the radius value claim of 3959, the Earth has to curve at a certain rate. There has to be a physical obstruction. It's called the geometric horizon, i.e. the Earth's curvature. Do you have physical measurement of this? Yes or no?
No.
Okay, so you don't have actual empirical evidence of the Earth curving. You just presuppose dimensions, and then you go tell me.
No, I do. You just have to factor in refraction, and there will always be refraction, so we will not see the geometric horizon.
So you agree that it's an unfalsifiable claim then?
Not quite.
Well, I agree with you on that. It's not unfalsifiable because we have falsified it, because based on your math and your dimension claims, we have to see the Earth's curvature at 1.225 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. We'll keep it simple for you. What's the square root of 1?
1.
Okay, so what's 1 times 1.225?
1.225.
Okay, so if we're 1 foot off the surface of the Earth, where should we see the geometric horizon?
Let's see. You're talking
Let's try
again, we won't see the geometric horizon. We will see the geometric horizon after it has gone through a refractive index.
Okay, so we see the horizon constantly fluctuate. It's just an apparent location. Okay, that's what the horizon is. It's where the sky appears to meet the ground. It fluctuates based on atmospheric conditions. You claim a physical location, bro. So every time it moves around, welcome to flat Earth. That's our argument. When you come and cherry pick one of the observations out and you say, look, it looks a little closer, we don't actually know our elevation. We don't know the atmospheric conditions, and we don't know the distance to it, right? It doesn't actually verify.
I mean, you can.
I'm still talking.
That information.
I'm actually saying substantive things. Okay. So whenever you just take an observation and you say, it looks like it's a little closer, you don't even know the supposed distance to it. It's not in any way validating your dimensions claim. But if you go back the next day or you wait a couple hours, it'll move. So is the Earth breathing in and out and physically changing its geometric horizon location?
No, it's because the atmosphere is changing due to temperature and pressure and bending light in different ways.
Welcome to flat Earth, bro. Snacks in the back, bro.
All right. So you're still not getting.
Stop self-projecting.
You need a geometric horizon for there to be an apparent horizon.
No, you need a geometric horizon, okay? Because there's an apparent convergence with distance all over the Earth and all kinds of different observations of all kinds of different phenomena. You're making an additional claim.
Then why do they disappear from the bottom up?
Oh, so now you're going to divert away from your geometric horizon. You're going to ask.
This is very much relevant here.
Well, okay, because no, you don't have a geometric horizon. You don't have physical measurement of Earth curvature. So we'll move on. So whenever I see a boat disappear to the naked eye and I pull out some optics and I increase my angle of view or my angular resolution, I can bring it back into view, bro.
No, not quite. Now it depends on if it is small enough. If it's small enough to go beyond the angular resolution of your eye before it goes over the horizon, then yes, you can bring it back into view with a camera. If it's something really, really big that you can see that's now halfway obscured, it does not matter what angular resolution of camera you use. You will not bring that bottom half back up over the horizon.
Okay,
that
so
will never happen, and I challenge you to find me a case.
Okay, I have it on my computer right now, you clown show. I have a B900. I'm still talking. Hey, McToon, I'm actually not debating you. I've dismantled you numerous.
Okay, go ahead and present. Ooh, you froze.
Mind you, it has to be from the same spot under the same atmospheric conditions. So, like two different cameras used at the same time in the same spot.
He can't hear us. He froze.
Okay. So let's see. There was I
don't know what happened here. So who do you think is coaching him? Who's the engineer that's with him?
I don't know.
Or the plane surveyor, the many plane surveyors that he's talked to.
Now, okay, when he says plane surveyor, that's talking about the people who just use the approximations.
It's a junior surveyor. It's somebody who's not qualified to do.
I know that they can do surveys assuming flat Earth if it's under short distances.
Yeah, it's only good for short distances.
But it'll get less and less accurate the longer distances they go using flat Earth calculations. Is he gone now? His thumbnail.
Yeah, he's completely disconnected. So yeah, it does seem it's super noodle doodle. The incredibly scared and runaway prone Globebusters, who's in the chat, seems is the one that was coaching and apparently is now a plane surveyor in addition to being a fake engineer. It's interesting, but I don't know where he went.
Because I know surveyors absolutely use Earth curvature in certain cases. Because it seems like he was taking a type of surveying that by definition does not use curvature.
Yeah, it's a subset. It's like
saying because they don't, then none of them do.
Yeah, exactly. It's like bicycles exist, therefore motorcycles don't.
Yeah.
But or even more, it's like you work in a kitchen. The plane surveyors are the guys in the back peeling potatoes, and the normal surveyors are the one actually doing the cooking.
And then, never mind. Was it geodesists. Is that the they're like
geodesic.
surveyors,
Yeah,
but with a
geodetic.
much higher degree.
Yeah, geodetic surveyors. They have to go to school for longer, and they have much more involved calculations in order to deal with the longer distances.
Like PhD Tony.
Well, he's not a surveyor, but yeah,
he is a
he deals.
He's a
with,
geography teacher. That's
no, PhD Tony deals with gravity to get data for mineral exploration companies.
Mm-hmm.
So, well,
and also doesn't he
geophysicist?
Don't they also basically use like earthquakes as an ultrasound for the Earth too?
All right, y'all have fun. Y'all have fun making up stories about the cartoon ball Earth while I was gone with no one to defend the real truth.
Oh, we were talking about plane data surveyors.
Yeah, we're joking about plane surveyors.
Yeah, it's called Geodesy, right? So
plane surveyors don't use that. So
no, but y'all were trying to figure out the word Geodesy. You didn't know the word. You didn't know the word. The word geodesy. The fatherhead of geodesy says that you have to assume axial rotation, the centrifugal mass particle attraction at the little fairy tale middle of this ball Earth is what causes the bending and warping of the observations over vast distances. And then we use a geoid model to explain the mean sea level, but then we actually use an oblate flattened version of it to explain the terra firma. So you don't even have a working model. Then you actually take plane survey data. This is all objective. So maybe McToon, before you start just touting victory, write down some notes. Okay. This is all objective. We take plane survey data. Then geodetic surveyors take that data. They compile it together, they make long distance observations, and then they take a window of error. Anything that doesn't fit within the window of error in the observations is thrown out. They take a weighted mean, and then they reverse engineer their claim. That's exactly what they do. That's called a calculation, not a measurement.
You're frozen again.
Wow.
I mean, I could hear you, but
yeah, the lots of claims of reverse engineering, but none forthcoming, I guess.
Yeah, with the geodetic. Yeah, geodetic surveyors, that's not reverse engineering what they're doing. They're the ones that they actually do take measurements and of Earth curvature, and they can use that to plug in the plane surveyors.
Yeah, the thing about plane surveyors is they have a limited area, and there's planar maps that they use, and when you have a project that bridges from one map to another map, you need to use somebody that's more qualified to have something that bridges between them.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right,
like they're the ones that basically stitched all the plane surveys together.
Yeah.
And they have to use curvature because the further distances you use, the less accurate it gets under flat Earth assumptions.
Well, he sounds a lot better now.
I can't really hear. That sounds weird and echoey and robotic. I didn't get what he said.
So,
are you there? I can see him now. Looks like he's frozen still.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happened? The place I'm staying, there was a transformer that blew down the street, and the internet went out. Apparently, per usual, the Globers went crazy, shouting victory about how I ran away, even though you've just been getting dismantled since the beginning.
We didn't say anything about that, but
I can't see the chat.
I said the chat, McToon.
Oh,
you don't listen very well. Oh, yeah. So anyway, let's talk about what this is really happening here. So we take plane survey data, and then they take it, they compile it, and then they make long distance observations, okay? And then they calculate with a weighted mean. So anything that is too far away or too close, they throw it out. They have a window of error, and it's called a weighted mean. This is called geodetic surveying, what you're invoking, but you don't understand. Okay. And then they reverse engineer. They go backwards, assuming.
Again, I don't think you're using reverse engineering.
That's all you can
here.
keep
That's
saying,
not
dude.
what
That's all
that means.
Dude, that's called a semantical diversion, buddy. Okay.
You're
I won't use
using
the word-
words wrong.
Okay, I won't use the word again, and then you still won't be able to respond. So we use plane survey data. This is the 4th time, so you should be able to come up with a response by now. We use plane survey data, we compile it together, and then we look at observations over long distances, and then we throw out anything that's too far away or too close using a weighted mean, assuming the Earth's a ball. We then compare it to an NDSA, which has the radius value in it, which is what is in contention, and we get an accuracy percentage rate. I actually debated a geodetic surveyor on Modern Day Debate. He said all of this himself. So maybe you should go watch that before you invoke geodetic surveying. So would you like to move on or admit you don't know what you're talking about?
Geodetic surveying, that takes a lot more technical knowledge than the plane surveyors. The geodetic surveyors are basically stitching together the plane surveys, and they're the ones that actually use the curve calculations. The plane
I just
surveyors,
said that. So that's called a calculation, not a measurement. They have to use the model with the R value already in it. Then they have a weighted mean. If something doesn't,
no, they still use actual calculations.
That's what I just said.
This is already known.
Not measurements. Calculations, not measurements.
But what I'm saying, just because you have a subset of surveyors that aren't using curvature in their calculations because they're using a similar area.
Every single surveyor ever that makes a measurement assumes that there's no curvature. Then there's geodetic surveying, an entire different. Geodetic surveying is an entire different branch.
I'm going to need to see evidence on that. Every single surveyor never uses curvature because they absolutely do.
Hey, yeah, every single planar survey ever.
You didn't say
planar survey.
Guys, you're gonna look really stupid on the replay because what I said was measurement. Every single survey measurement. Geodetic surveying is a calculation. McToon, you can try to laugh because you're trying to project that you're not embarrassed right now, but you're getting dismantled while you're breaking the very rules.
You've never provided one citation for anything. It's just claim after claim after claim.
Okay,
so you were going to show.
Specify your contingency. I'll debate you too. You're a gamma. Y'all are both dumb. I'll debate both of you.
Before your convenient dropout, you were going to show us video. So go ahead and present.
A transformer blew down the street, you clown show. You think I had to run away from you?
Go ahead and present the video you were talking about.
Okay, no, real fast. When we're going to talk about geodetic surveying, okay? So I said that geodetic surveying is calculations and that all survey measurements assume the Earth to be flat. And then geodetic surveying, a different branch of surveying, which is calculation, not measurement.
They use measurements too.
Okay, what measurement do they use?
As I said, you can use things in the sky, but apparently you don't think that counts because you don't know how geometry works.
That's not how they use anything. They don't use anything in the sky anyway.
You can't use math to do measurements, according to Austin. So
wait, McToon, is calculation and measurement the same thing? Yes or no?
It's called a secondary measurement if you use a calculation.
Okay, so it's not the same thing then.
No, a direct measurement is like use a tape measure, yeah. But
right. So secondary means it requires the primary measurement, right?
Yeah.
So
calculations there is no planar surveying that's direct measurement either. They're all secondary measurements.
Oh, they're all secondary measurements.
Yes, because they're using geometry. You have to take a lot of it's using angles and stuff. And to calculate,
you don't know what you're talking about. You have no idea what you're talking about. You have no idea. They use angles and stuff. Okay, they measure the surface of the Earth in small increments over different angles of view. Okay, so that they can make sure
math. So it's calculations and then
to make sure that it's accurate. Okay,
secondary measurements.
Dude, I'm talking to I'm gonna expose you on the internet. You're laughing. You agreed to not interrupt, and you've literally interrupted.
I'm gonna expose you on the internet. Oh,
he's moderating.
Yeah, but you're just interrupting.
You're not moderating.
A moderator doesn't just
I'm not gonna give you free reign to just yap there, Austin. You need to give a chance to talk. Yes, I'm going to interrupt so that you can stop talking and give a chance for the other person to talk. That's my job as moderator, to interrupt
you're not doing that,
to tell you to stop talking.
But you're not doing that. You're debating.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, you're a gamma. You're a gamma. So stop interrupting.
I'm going to expose you.
It doesn't mean anything.
Right. Yeah.
Dude, stop interrupting, McToon.
Continue with your non-secondary measurements. Go ahead.
Okay, so back to the point here. He admitted that we don't have any physical measurements of the geometric horizon. He didn't invoke geodetic surveying, which I actually debated a geodetic
we don't have
surveyor.
any primary measurements.
I'm talking. Where's the moderator at?
Nah, I'm gonna let him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're gonna let him. I know, of course, because you're a gamma, and you're
you're
doing
gamma.
everything you
You're
promised that you
gamma.
wouldn't do.
You're gamma. You're gamma. You're gamma.
Doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, could you stop with the attempted insults
the
there?
made up insults here. It means nothing to me.
Yeah. So actually, could you provide
Could you
something?
shut the hell
That's
up?
it.
Because no one's
Just
talking to you.
provide some
You're not
evidence.
debating. You're not debating.
Time. Just one time.
Platoon,
I'm
Platoon,
asking you to
I'm
provide
not
evidence.
debating
Just
you,
one
dude.
time. Come on,
All
Gamma.
we've heard so far is just definition games.
Yeah, fix your little hair while you have the moderator debating with you, interrupting me, and then when I start to talk, you interrupt me, and the moderator lets you, then debates with you because he has to save you because you don't know what you're talking about.
To be fair,
So
you've gotten at least 70% of the talking time.
Seth, my man, you've been getting thoroughly dismantled. You were not ready for this, okay? I just quoted a geodetic surveyor saying how he did his job, and you said it was wrong. But dude, stop interrupting because you're trying to save him. You're trying to save him. Seth, a geodetic surveyor said everything that I just said, and you told me that wasn't how he does his job. He says he has to have the NDSA. He has to have a weighted mean. He then applies it to get an approximation of a percentage of accuracy. So are you saying that
you're assuming that they just made up that weighted mean? This is still based on.
That's what's in contention, bro. That's what's in contention is the model, the R value. That's what's in contention. You just invoke geodetic surveying to prove it, but they use an NDSA with the R value in it, and then they have to get within 90% accuracy. So that doesn't prove what's in contention, buddy. And that's what the geodetic surveyor said. Oh, I wonder why you'll have to interrupt me. Oh, I can't imagine. You can
still calculate the R value. You're just assuming that. You're assuming that the R value is just made up and that they're plugging it into.
Yeah, I'm asking you how did they prove the R value? How they prove the R value if it's not made up?
Again, there's several ways you can do it, but apparently you don't understand.
I know every single part of your religion. No, my friend Seth, I know your whole religion. Your religion doesn't claim they looked at the sky to find the R value. You don't even know your own religion. That's not how they claim they found the R value, Seth.
It's not a religion.
Yes, it is.
Now, the way that they usually talk about the R value is the Eratosthenes.
Nope, wrong.
Well, I'm sorry, you interrupted again.
You're wrong, Seth. That's not how.
Stop interrupting.
And they use the angle of shadows with they use the angle of shadows with the sun under known distances. And this kind of goes back to one of the other points I was making, where they can use you can use those measurements and try to plug it into a flat Earth model, and it doesn't work because you end up coming up with multiple different distances to the sun or Polaris or whatever you're using.
All right, I'll let him talk now, since he was too interrupty. Go ahead, you can unmute now.
What a gamma! We don't have a flat Earth model.
Oops, I'm sorry.
That's part of your problem.
We know you don't have a flat Earth model, but I will now stop allowing you to insult. Okay, got it there, big boy. Put your big boy pants on and stop insulting.
I mean, I don't really care if he calls me a gamma.
I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to McToon.
Yeah.
And this is the only place in the whole entire world McToon gets to pretend he has juice is on the internet where you got a mute button. So anyway, Seth, the only reason I agreed to this is because you bashed my homie Trevor. I did not agree to be on this clown show. I'm still talking. Seth, stop interrupting me. Okay. So I agreed to be on a debate show on a different channel. You then changed it and you then brought McToon into it. I said, okay, I agree, but here are the parameters. We will not be debating 2v1. He will not be jumping in. He will not be muting me. He will not be debating for you. And I will not be answering all of his super chats because he does this for money. He has then not told them about the super chat parameter. He has then interrupted me, muted me, and debated for you five or six times.
He didn't really debate for me.
Seth,
he asked you to substantiate some of the claims you made. That's pretty much all he did.
No, that's not his job as a moderator, Seth. His job as a moderator is to make sure that people don't interrupt. And I've only been having to interrupt because he started debating with you, dude. So, Seth, here's the deal. The geodetic surveyor I debated, okay? He said they have to take the plane survey data that already exists, okay? The actual measurements. They then compile them together over vast distances. They make observations. The observations fluctuate. If they go too high or too low, they throw them out. They throw them out They throw out the observations that are not consistent with their assumption of the R value. They then take a weighted mean within the window of error of everything else they threw out. They then go back to the NDSA, which has the R value, and they compare it, and they try to get a percentage of accuracy. That's what the guy who does it said. So what you're supposedly doing right now is supposed to be proving the R value. Okay, so if you go get someone that has to go look at the presupposed R value in the NDSA model, that doesn't prove the R value, buddy. That's just a fluctuation observation of an apparent location that fluctuates. Okay, they throw out the observations that don't match their presuppositions, and then they go match it to the model. The R value is what's in contention. You then brought up Aristophanes with no primary documentation that ever even happened, and in addition, that's not even how your model claims they got the R value. They claim
recreate Aristophanes.
They claim Al-Biruni got the R value.
So
you don't know your own
recreate. You can recreate the Aristophanes experiment. You can also do the Polaris calculations, as I had mentioned. You seem to be running on the assumption that the R value is made up and not something that we definitely can measure.
No, it literally is made up, and I'm asking you how you measured it. And you don't know your own religion, which is a belief system built upon this doctrine of men without empirical evidence, which is literally what this is. You're actually making claims antithetical to all physical evidence, but upon the doctrine of men, typically Jesuits, by the way, which are actual religious priests. So I'm asking you, how did you determine the R value?
Support that?
Hey, buddy, calm down. Stop trying to divert because you're getting dismantled. Your model claims they got the R value with Al-Biruni. Do you know how they did that?
I want to see evidence.
No, you don't know.
They're Jesuits, that all these people that we supposedly listen to are
Al-Biruni was a Jesuit,
as if that would even matter anyway, because
a Muslim Jesuit somehow.
So you just get to keep on diverting constantly. You think that the only person that in the chat that thinks you're winning right now are the Globes outs that will never accept reality. But this is for the third party viewer. You have to divert. You have to interrupt me and divert every single time. So your model claims they got the R value from Al-Biruni, okay, not Aristophanes. Al-Biruni. Do you know how that? I don't
care who they got it from. That's the thing. It doesn't.
Well, you just now said that I'm claiming
don't interrupt me. You're going to complain about me interrupting you. Don't interrupt me either.
But you're not answering the question.
Because you're
talking over him.
So much more.
How'd you get the R value?
There we go.
It does not matter who did what. What matters is if their calculations can be peer reviewed and repeated and observed. I don't care who said what. I don't care if Neil deGrasse Tyson said it. I don't care if Al-Biruni said it. I don't care if, it doesn't matter who said it. We do not recognize a priesthood of people who, because they said it, then it must be true.
Hey, how did you get the R value? Stop diverting.
And you can do it by calculating the angles of things that we see in the sky.
Okay, so by
Okay, so go ahead and explain that. I'll keep him muted while you explain that.
All right. So we know that when you look at Polaris from the North Pole, it will be straight up. If you look at it from the equator, it will be 90 degrees different right on the horizon. We know the distance from the pole to the equator. We can use those put together. Now, I don't have the exact number off the top of my head. If he really wants to push it, we can pull up a calculator and I can make this calculation right now. With using.
Okay, so you have no actual evidence. You have no actual evidence. You don't know how that they actually claim to got the R. He's gonna interrupt me. Oh, here he goes. You don't know how they actually claim to get the R value, but I do. It's Al-Biruni. Okay, he looked at the horizon and he took an approximate location of the apparent location that is the horizon, and then assuming the Earth was a sphere, then looking at the supposed Aristophanes assumption of the distant sun with parallel rays, reversed engineered R value. This is where you just talk about the reverse engineer phrase because you can't respond to anything I'm saying. So you admitted that the geometric horizon's never been actually observed. So how is it that he found out where the geometric horizon was to get the R value in the first place?
He probably factored in refraction.
Oh, so he factored in refraction and assumed that there was a curvature of Earth there without actually being able to validate it.
I mean, refraction isn't going to add or get rid of curvature of the Earth.
Okay, so you had to assume it. So
it might make it appear slightly more or less curved, but it will never be.
Yeah. Appear means apparent, bro. You're claiming an actual location. We beat this into the ground because you just don't understand it. See, apparent location and actual location are different things. You're claiming an actual location that we never see. We have no physical measurements of, but we're just supposed to believe it because you reverse engineer calculations, assuming that it was there and that the Earth's a sphere by looking at the sky.
Exactly.
So we can move on. Let's move on. Let's move on.
Well,
You don't
hold on. We know exactly how refraction works. We can measure refraction.
Yeah,
so
cool.
If we can get the apparent horizon and then factor in the refractive index, we can then calculate exactly where the geometric horizon will be.
By assuming that it's there. How
by
do you
definition, it has to be there.
No, by definition, it has to be there if the Earth's a sphere. You're begging the question, but this is way over your head. We're going to move on. The necessary antecedent to pressure is containment. The second law of thermodynamics necessitates entropy will increase. You claim a pressurized system is adjacent to a near perfect vacuum of 10 to the negative 17 torr. How does that work? What is acting as the containment?
It's gradient, first of all.
Gradient is delta x. I asked you about x. Try again.
All right. So it is not a contained system right next to a vacuum. It is, you have one atmosphere of pressure at sea level, and it gets less and less and less and less and less.
That's the gradient. I'm asking you how we have pressure.
Fade into near zero.
You're so lost. That's called delta X. We're not talking about delta X, which you don't know what is. We're talking about X, the antecedents, not the quantitative, but the antecedent relationship. Okay. So how do you have pressure on the Earth? What is acting as the containment? That is the antecedent to pressure. What's the containment?
That's gravity. It's
okay.
Gravity.
So define gravity for the audience.
All right. So whether or not you believe that, objects of mass attract each other, we can most definitely prove that there is a downward force. Now, do you deny that?
Stop asking me questions. I asked you to define gravity, but you don't know. You said mass attracting mass. That was superseded in 1915. Your model doesn't claim that mass attracts mass anymore. It claims something different.
That's the Newtonian model. That is a more simplified version. You have the Einsteinian model that refines that. But it does not say that mass does not attract mass. They just add in, it's more of why mass attracts mass.
Okay, so what is gravity according to your model? It's not a mass attracting mass in the Newtonian physics that was superseded. So what is gravity according to your model?
It wasn't superseded. It was more explained why.
No, it makes different claims, dude. It makes different claims because the Newtonian.
Could you just provide evidence for that?
Yeah, I will support it right now. Mattoon, you're lost like always. Newtonian physics only worked on the local scale. It didn't work on the citation. Hey, I'm talking, Mattoon. Shut up.
You said you'd support your evidence. Go ahead and support your evidence.
I'm supporting it right now.
Words won't do it. You're going to need a citation for that.
So you're asking me to provide evidence for your gravity claim.
No. You claimed that gravity was superseded in 1915. Provide evidence for that. I'm just asking for evidence for that.
Eviscerated right now. I get it. His guts are all over the place. We get it.
I'm asking for evidence of your claim.
I'm asking for you to shut up.
No, I'm asking for evidence of your claim. You claim gravity was superseded in 1915. Go ahead and show where Einstein said that.
Okay, I'll explain. Einstein didn't say that.
Oh,
you
good. Okay, so you're wrong then. Thank you.
Mattoon, I'm not debating you. Shut up.
Okay.
Shut up.
No evidence. Got it.
So Seth, here's the deal, buddy. Newtonian physics didn't work on anything but the local scale. It did not work on the cosmological scale. So they had to then update the idea of gravity to the general theory of relativity. First, it was special relativity in 1905. Then added on to that was general relativity in 1915, which says that due to the displacement of mass, that there's a gravity rail around all the mass and the displacement within this ever-expanding infinite nothingness, and that gravity is the effect of the bending and warping of space-time. How is it that those are antithetical? Well, mass attracting mass actually claims a causal agent, and then general relativity claims it is the effect of the bending and warping of space-time. Those are two different things. If you didn't know that, Mattoon, because this is because they actually did the Michelson-Morley and the Michelson-Gell experiments. So my question for you is, we're not going to talk about all that because you don't get it. Hey, Steph, is general relativity accurate? Yes or no?
Is what?
Is general relativity accurate? Yes or no?
It has been used to make accurate predictions, but it is incomplete.
Do we have empirical evidence of it?
Yes.
Okay, what is that?
For example, you have the relation of velocity and time, where they have used atomic clocks in I believe they used them in jets. I don't know, something very fast.
How do atomic clocks work?
it's a clock that measures the oscillation of an atom to get very, very accurate,
What's an
measurements of
oscillation?
time.
What's the oscillation? What's that mean?
Like the vibration.
You don't know how
Of an
clocks
atom?
work?
Okay, so the
All right,
oscillation
we can
rate
do
of-
remedial clock work later.
Yeah, do we
stop
need to
interrupting,
explain all
McKinnon.
this?
We're talking about to dismantle him. So what they do is they actually take the oscillation rate of what type of atoms? You don't know. I'll help you out. Cesium atoms, okay? And they do not account for the vibrational impact of the plane itself. And then when they see a differential within the oscillation rate of the cesium atoms, they still just presuppose and reify the causal agent. They in no way bended and warped and manipulated space and time. You can't bend, warp space and time because those are physical properties. You're attributing them to conceptual abstraction. That's called a reification fallacy. Time is a conceptual quantification of passing based on the sky's movement. I'm talking with you.
Here he's strawmanning space-time. Thank you.
See, that's all you can do. You said you wouldn't do this. You promised that you wouldn't do this, and
No,
you can't help yourself. You can't help yourself.
Strawmanning space-time. Keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, shut up then. Okay, so space is the conceptual quantification, or space is actually the idea of the area void of material, and then we have descriptors of it based on certain dimensions. See, length, width, and height, those are also just abstractions, bro. Those are descriptions, okay? So you're taking length and width and height of an area assumed to be void of matter, which is space. A privation, right? That is an assumption, and that is conceptual. You cannot attribute physical properties to conceptual abstractions. You then say that there's also physical properties within time, which is just a human construct we've came up with to quantify passing based on the cycle of the sky and the sun when it comes to day and nighttime. So how can you attribute physical properties to conceptual abstractions? You can't. But don't worry, I don't even need you to argue that. I'll give you gravity times a quadrillion, okay? You got gravity, which is a reification fallacy, has no empirical evidence, and is literally just a fairy tale. I'll give it to you times 1 million.
We can show you.
No, hey, I'll give it to you times 1 million, okay? Atom clocks just assumes the causal agent, in no way verifies the actual cause, right? So it doesn't actually have an independent variable that's manipulated at all. It's a joke. But anyway, we'll give you gravity times 1 million. If I take out a pressure of gas, right, like a container of pressurized gas at the surface, and I open it up, what's going to happen?
Depends. How dense is the gas? What kind of gas is it?
Oxygen.
That would typically disperse. Now, if you'd use carbon dioxide, that would.
I didn't ask you about carbon dioxide. I asked you about oxygen.
That would mostly disperse because that is closer to the same density as our atmosphere.
Okay. What about helium? What would happen with helium?
That would go up into the air because buoyancy.
Okay. What about hydrogen?
That would go up even more than helium.
Okay, so if I have hydrogen, helium, or oxygen in a pressurized container on the surface of the Earth and I open it up, it will instantaneously disperse in all directions, seeking equilibrium, correct?
Not quite. Not completely all directions. It will have a tendency to go, again, helium or hydrogen will go up more than they go just out, versus if you were to use carbon dioxide or butane, that will go down.
Wow.
So go down,
we're
go
talking
boom,
about,
boom.
Hey, I'm sorry that you're really remedial and you have to try to make jokes to save yourself right here, but try to stay on subject, okay, buddy? So we have oxygen, helium, and hydrogen, okay? They have omnidirectional dispersal. That means that they go directly up also. No, there's no not quite. Does oxygen go straight up?
No.
So you're saying not one part of that oxygen goes up?
Oh, some of them will.
Okay, so some of them will go directly up. Is that correct?
Yes, but they will also have.
No, there's no but. Yes or no?
They can only go up so high.
That's a cool fairy tale. Hey, that's a cool story.
Depends on their temperature and the.
Dude, you're making this painful, man. So oxygen, hydrogen, helium, right? The gases will disperse omnidirectional, instantaneously seeking equilibrium. This is the second law of thermodynamics. It's a natural law. Entropy will always increase, okay? Period, bro. It doesn't matter what you say. High pressure migrates to low pressure. Heat migrates to cold, seeking equilibrium instantaneously until it's equalized. That is a natural law. What you say is,
Then why is there a gradient?
Doesn't matter. So stop talking about a gradient. That we're talking about the antecedent of pressure. So where is gravity the strongest?
That would be right at the center of the Earth.
Okay, so if
we're talking about Earth gravity, because if you want to talk about where gravity is strongest, it would be whatever the biggest mass is.
Well, I know you may be late to the debate, but it's about the Earth. Okay, so if the surface of the Earth is the closest we can get to the core of the Earth, and that means that is the strongest gravity that's accessible, correct?
I mean, unless you dig really, really far
Okay,
down.
okay,
Let's just
okay.
assume we're using the surface.
You can't dig really, really far down. The furthest they've ever gone is 7.8 miles, and they were wrong about every single one of their predictions. But anyway, at the
Can you
surface,
support that?
support what? Yeah, I don't. Yeah, look up the borehole, dude. Have you never researched anything?
I know I have cursory knowledge of that, but
Okay, that's not my problem. I'm not here to just give you things that you should have already looked up before you come to a debate. They predicted all kinds of things about what would go on at the borehole, and they were wrong about like 7 or 8 predictions. And they know exactly what's 3,959 miles away, but they don't know what's all the way to 7.8 miles away. But anyway,
what year was this done?
Stop trying to divert. You're scared right now. So where is gravity the strongest? You agree it's at the center, right? So the core has the strongest gravity. So if we go to the surface, the closest to the core that we're going to get for our little experiment here, and it's supposedly the strongest, closest to the center of mass, then it doesn't stop the gas from dispersing in all directions. So how does it stop the gas from dispersing in all directions when I get way further away from the core where it's much weaker?
See, this kind of becomes then talk about buoyancy, which does involve the acceleration of gravity in its calculations.
Let me try to ask you again, because that wasn't the question.
Sorry.
So if
I'll let him answer, since you gave us all a big heaping helping of word salad there, and then he, middle of his sentence, first sentence, answering you, first sentence, you interrupted. So go ahead, take as much time as he took to answer.
All right. So he hasn't. We're still. He seemed to hand wave away the gradient part, which is very much relevant to this conversation here. Now, we know that air has weight, even though it will it'll disperse if you release it. Depending on the density of the gas, it may go up or down. If it goes, if it is a less dense gas in a more dense medium, it'll go up, because that the more dense gas is being pulled down by the force of gravity and forcing that up. Now we can show that buoyancy does not happen in the absence of gravity. You could pull up the bubbles in free fall video.
Sure.
All right. So when things are in free fall, then that force of gravity is equalized. So buoyancy does not work in free fall, because it is experiencing 0 G, because that force of gravity has been equalized. Toon's trying to pull up a video here that I sent him of bubbles in free fall, where there's a bottle that is having bubbles being moved through it, and there's a camera connected to it. When it drops, you see, while it is dropping, the bubbles are no longer floating to the top. The bubbles just kind of hover where they were. And also bubbles that were, this part is just this is the, gravimeter in the phone. I think it's about 2.5 minutes in is where he shows the bubbles. All right, so you see the bubbles are, they're floating to the top, but then when the bottle drops, the bubbles stop moving up. Because buoyancy requires gravity. And when things are in free fall, gravity is equalized. So, and he also points out, you see when they're floating up, they're kind of compressed, but then they expand into closer to a sphere when they remove that force of gravity in free fall. So, all right. I'm trying to remember the what specific thing he was trying to ask, because he kind of went all over the place with his word salad.
Yeah, he had a lot of things he wanted to hear.
All right, so we know. Oh yeah. Also, here's another point to make with. Yeah, you can take, say, just any canister of compressed air, and you can weigh it, and you can weigh the amount of air that is in there. Then you can release it and just weigh the container, and subtract the weight of the container. You can get the weight of that air. Now, if air has weight, that means it has a downward acceleration. If air has weight, again, like if you were to take a more dense gas and put it in like a cup or a bucket or something, it will stay in there. It only disperse if it is roughly equal or less than the density of the atmosphere. So this means that you don't need a physical barrier to hold in the atmosphere. It's not like we have regular atmospheric pressure and then suddenly a vacuum. You have a gradient because you have all that gas that is being pulled down towards Earth, and the closer to Earth it is, the more squished into Earth it is getting by the other air on top of it.
All right. Well, we'll let him back in.
Okay, so anyway, I already explained to you that delta X is not in any way what we're discussing. That's called a non sequitur fallacy. That is a quantitative relationship. We are talking about the antecedent relationship. X, not delta X. Okay, how do you have the gas? So when you bring up the gradient, it literally has nothing to do with the antecedent issue that we're discussing. In addition, you just said if I pour gas in a container that it will just sit there, but kind of disperse. No, it will disperse. Gas disperses in all directions, seeking equilibrium.
Depends on the density of the gas.
Oh my gosh. And everyone in the chat wants to know, why is it that I have to raise my voice and talk really fast? Because I literally won't be allowed to get the full point out, because I'll be allowed to be interrupted, and then the moderator will debate against me also. So that's why I'm getting worked up. But then I get muted for 3 straight minutes while this guy stumbles along words, having no idea what he's talking about. So back to the point here. My first question that you didn't answer at all: if gravity is the strongest closest to the center of mass, and the closest to the center of mass, the surface of the Earth, and I pull out a pressurized container of gas, I open it up. It seeks equilibrium instantaneous in all directions. How is it that much higher above the center of mass, where gravity is way weaker, that it would be able to contain it and prevent it from doing that?
That's the thing, is it doesn't completely. We actually do lose a little bit of the atmosphere all the time. It just has because gas has weight. You can measure the weight of any gas, any given amount of gas. That means that it is being pulled towards Earth.
No. For one, bro, it's instantaneous. It's the second law of it's the second law of thermodynamics. Just because you say nuh-uh doesn't mean anything. It's a natural law, okay? Entropy will increase and there will be instantaneous equilibrium sought, because entropy will increase. So it doesn't just gradually go out there, it would instantaneously fill the available space seeking equilibrium. So I'm asking you, if you have to invoke a container, but your container doesn't work because at the surface closest to the center of mass, it's the strongest, yet it doesn't prevent this from happening. So where it's way weaker, it's not going to prevent it from happening. It would instantaneously fill the available space. In addition to that, you said we could weigh gas. How do we weigh gas?
You can put it in a canister.
Oh, a container. Okay,
yep.
So can we get back to the point? The necessary antecedent to pressure is a container at the surface level closest to the center of mass. It does not prevent it seeking equilibrium instantaneously. So how would it do that miles and miles up where it's way weaker?
Way weaker? How much weaker?
It's not really that much weaker at that point. It does get weaker and weaker the further away you go, but it's still it's slightly less, but it's still pretty close to where it was when you get to the top of the atmosphere. Gravity isn't that much less up there.
Is it more or less?
It's slightly less.
Okay, so it's less then. There's no slight, it's less or more. So it's less. Okay. So if it doesn't do it where it's the strongest, if it's weaker, doesn't matter how much weaker, it's weaker, bro. Okay. So if it's weaker, then it would not prevent the second law of thermodynamics from taking place. Entropy will increase. It would instantaneously seek equilibrium like it does at the surface closest to the center of mass, where your little fairy tale gravity is supposed to be the strongest. So once again, if it doesn't stop it from doing it at the surface where it's the strongest, how would it stop it where it's weaker, much higher above the center of mass?
As I said, it doesn't entirely. We do lose some of the atmosphere. Okay. But it is still being gravity is still attracting the mass of air towards Earth.
Even when it goes directly up?
You have to think of it in terms of particles of air, because it's a gas, it's a bunch of free-floating particles. And they're bouncing.
Can you verify that? Have you ever isolated and proven a physical material particle of gas, please?
Me personally, no, but this is something that
no one ever has.
This is very well understood, and just this is something that
assumed.
No, like.
Yeah,
if you're going to deny the chemistry of gases, I'm not really sure how to help you.
No. I'm denying the material. You don't understand it. Hey, buddy, I understand every single part of this eons more than you ever will. So stop self-projecting your intellectual insecurity. It doesn't really matter if you've isolated the pseudoscientific subatomic materialistic claim of gas, which that was all over your head. So I mean, guess it was word salad. That's really just non sequitur to the point that the surface where it's the strongest, it doesn't prevent instantaneous equilibrium being sought. So it wouldn't do it where it's weaker. So the necessary antecedent to pressure is a container. Your little fairy tale of a 10 to the negative 17 torr vacuum adjacent to a pressurized system is bunk. It's out the window. So let's move on. Did you know that? Yes, it is. It is at the surface level where gravity is the strongest.
Right, then show me evidence that it is instantaneous.
Okay, I'll just pop a balloon. Pop a balloon at the surface level.
Sorry, what? You kind of cut out.
Pop a balloon at the surface level.
Yeah, and that gas will still be there for a little, like it'll start dispersing, but it's not an instantaneous thing. It doesn't just, the particles of gas don't just suddenly teleport outside of where they were.
Give me some proof that
the fact that it disperses means that it has to move from one spot to another.
It's your claim that it's instantaneous, not his to disprove.
So you're saying gas, no, it's a natural law, McToon. It's called the second law.
Well, give the citation that says
that's not what the second law
instantaneously does this.
Yeah, instantaneously seeks equilibrium. Entropy will increase.
Citation.
No, I'm not running to get citations, McToon.
Okay, excellent. So another claim without evidence. Okay, we are at an hour and a half.
No, McToon, I'm not done. No. I got some evidence. Let me share a screen. Let me share the screen then.
I asked you for evidence a long time ago there.
I got evidence. Let me share the screen, McToon.
Oh, let's see your evidence.
Okay, great, perfect.
Are you gonna do it?
I'm gonna do it.
You're gonna do that. The video you were talking about earlier. People are asking.
Stop trying to specify what I'm supposed to do.
People are asking for that claim there.
That's a cool story.
Supported.
That's a cool story. Where's it at here? Share screen. Oh, host disabled, participant screen sharing. What a shocker!
It's off by default. Just a second.
Yeah, but you've muted me not by default over and over.
Yeah, shush, little boy.
You never talk to me like this in real life. We've all seen you in real life, McToon. Do about 30 push-ups before you act like you're tough, bro.
You haven't seen me in real life.
Yeah, well, I have actually seen videos of you in real life, and I laughed very hard.
All right.
How is a video of him in real life different from the video of him now?
Well, I get to see him in entirety. You know how he actually looks in real life. Anyway, who cares? Doesn't matter.
Go ahead.
Okay.
You can
share.
So this is slightly off topic, but you brought it up earlier. Why is it that you think that I bash Trevor? You see, I've made it a point to be as charitable as I can with him. I do not throw insults at him. All I do is whenever he makes a post on Facebook making a claim about the shape of the Earth, I will go on and debunk it. We'll argue with it. We'll
never debunk anything.
Sometimes it gets a little. Sometimes it might get a little bit heated. I probably have gone a little bit far a couple of times, but I really, you seem to act like I'm just constantly bashing him, making fun of him, and belittling him, when, like, really, Trevor is not my enemy. I'm not trying to make, I don't throw insults at him. I'm sure he gets infuriated by me constantly debunking his posts, but you seem to think that I'm just harassing and bullying him and calling him names. And what exactly is it that you think is disgusting and degenerative about what I do there?
Oh, well, you're degenerate in numerous ways. You actually advocate for the murdering of defenseless babies. But what I'm saying is that's
it's
your
not
actual
murder, but
I'm still talking. That's your actual flesh and blood. Okay. And what you do is you go around and you bash him and you slur ad homs. You talk about how he's stupid. Then you go around and you jump on
I've
Globe.
never called him stupid.
I'm still talking. Then you go around, you jump on Globe Earther's show, bashing your own flesh and blood while they talk about how he's mentally challenged and all, like he's mentally retarded and how stupid he is. And he actually has a serious problem that he needs to go get help because he's that stupid. He's that mentally challenged. And you sit there with those people bashing your own flesh and blood, and you don't ever defend him, but you rather laugh and you make fun of him. And then you go around and you stalk him, making fun of him. I know plenty of personal stories I'm not going to air out here also. So how about you pump the brakes? We all know that you do indeed bash him. And I just now proved you don't even know your own model. You can't even answer any of the basic flat earth questions. You don't even understand the black swan yet. So for you to go make fun of him because he knows what the earth is laughable. So yeah, that's the only reason I'm here. And then you agree to certain parameters, and so did McToon, and y'all both reneged on them.
He made a bunch of just straight up false claims. I'm not
I know he won't be supporting that claim either. Let's move on to the screen share you were about to do.
Okay, McToon, what it says is I'll have to actually exit out of Skype because I just now downloaded this. So here's the link. Why don't you share?
Are you running Skype?
Yeah, so the magnetic field would never work on a globe Earth. It hasn't even been theoretically explained how it would work yet. Do you agree or disagree, Seth?
I disagree.
Okay, so you're saying there is a viable postulation that's been empirically proven as to how the magnetic field works on the globe Earth.
I mean, we know there's a magnetic field. We know it has to do with the rotation of the Earth and the different metals that are inside it causing a magnet.
How do we know that?
On a flat Earth,
no, stop talking about a flat Earth. We're talking about a globe Earth.
Oh no, we're going to talk about magnetism on a flat Earth here.
Okay,
You're not getting out of this.
I'm way over your head on this one, buddy. It would only work on a globe Earth because of a dielectric plane, which is the toroidal manifestation of magnetism, the way it always works under a ferrocell. We live on a dielectric plane. We have a toroid above and below, right? Wow. We can actually explain the dipole and the magnetic.
You're going too fast for me to keep up. Whew.
Yeah, we know. So, but your model can't explain it. Harvard agrees with me, Seth. Harvard says they still can't explain the magnetic field, but McToon seems to be dragging his feet, pulling it up right now. But they still can't explain the magnetic field at Harvard. So are you saying Harvard's wrong, Seth?
Oh, I'm sure there's incomplete knowledge of how it works. You seem to think that, like, because there's things that they are still studying, that somehow that discredits everything that they've already discovered.
No, that's not what I said. That's a straw man. That's a straw man. I didn't say that. I said your model still can't even explain the magnetic field and how it works. And you said, yes, they can. And then you started talking about metals at the core. So please enlighten us, because you should go and, get a full ride at Harvard, or maybe just get the Nobel Prize, because Harvard can't figure it out. So explain to all the audience, how does the magnetic field work on a globe Earth?
I mean, I gave the information that they do know so far. As I said, there's incomplete knowledge about it, but that doesn't discredit the parts that we already do know.
Okay, so the parts that you already know is that the magnetic field is caused by axial rotation and the metals at the core. Is that correct?
Kind of. There's the different speeds at which that they rotate. Now magnetism, though, is polar. You cannot have a magnet with one pole at the center and the other pole all around the outside.
Okay.
That is not how magnets work.
Cool story.
So a magnetic field could not work on a flat Earth.
Actually, it's called a ring magnet. And actually, we don't make a claim as to the model. They could be hiding land, because you need a dipole for a magnetic field to work. It could be a quadrupole with the missing landmass. All that's over your head. Will you go to page 4, McToon, please? Okay, so according all the way down, please. Okay, according to Harvard, the question still remains: is the permanent magnetization responsible for Earth's magnetic field? No. So Seth, Harvard thinks that you have no idea what you're talking about. From statistical mechanics, we know there's a Curie point temperature of most ferromagnets, the core temperature of Earth. At high temperatures, ferromagnets lose their magnetism. So it sits there and tells you all the different postulations they're trying to figure out. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, it's where they concede they have no idea how it works yet. So you don't know how
I don't think the permanent magnetization, that is not the same as magnetization from rotation.
Okay, so do you agree that our magnetic field does behave like a permanent magnetic field, and that they just claim that we just don't actually observe the movement? I'm not going to help you.
Magnetic fields behave pretty much the same regardless of what's causing them.
Oh, no, there's a permanent magnetic field, okay, and that's what we have on Earth. Now, they claim it just looks like that, but do you know why they say that it just looks like that?
Because magnetic fields behave basically the same regardless of what's causing them.
Okay, that's inaccurate. That's not the answer. Let me ask you again, or maybe you could for once be honest and just concede you don't know, because I never provide evidence. I got about 5 more citations here for you, McToon, that dismantle your religion. I just don't need them. I don't need them. I don't make stuff up. I research stuff and then I can retain it and I say it in debates. So hey, here's the deal, Seth. If it isn't acting as a permanent magnetic field, but it looks just like a permanent magnetic field, do you know why they say that it looks like a permanent magnetic field, but it in fact is not one? Do you know what the explanation is?
No, not off the top of my head.
Not off the top of your head. You've never even read this, bro. Don't lie. Off the top of your head. Okay, the answer is because, well, we just assume that since it takes billions and billions of years, that we just don't observe the change, but we know there is a change because we know the Earth is billions and billions of years old.
Well, we can see the changes in studying metals in the Earth's crust. We can see that the magnetic field does, in fact, flip every once in a while.
Okay, let me reread this for you, man. So present and future. Reverse flux patches along with magnetic field hotspots revealed by Magsat and Oersted, 1999-1980. Supercomputer simulations are able to very closely model the Earth's magnetic field in 3D very closely. Laboratory dynamo experiments have started to show some progress, but there are limitations in all caps. This is Harvard, like the priesthood for your higher academia and your little religion. Success in this field awaits advancements in satellite sensitivity, faster supercomputer, and large-scale models. So they sit there and admit they do not have a working model of the magnetic field. They admit that claiming that it's due to axial rotation of the metals doesn't work in its bunk because of the ferromagnetic nature of metal. So what you claimed originally, which is the pseudoscientific layman explanation that everyone regurgitates, is debunked.
I just got back. I was frozen for a minute.
Okay, what you said about how the metals at the core and the axial rotation results in a magnetic field, which is the stupid layman terms, misinformation, regurgitation method that everyone else uses, is debunked according to the people on your side.
No, they didn't say it's debunked. They said it's limited.
No, they said it doesn't work. Scroll back up to page 4.
There are limitations.
They said there's limitations.
No, that was pretty much where I cut out too.
It said there are limitations. It said there are limitations.
All right. We're gonna move on here.
Even creating a viable option at all whatsoever, and actually the magnetic.
Tell you if you have an alternative model, you go right ahead and show it.
Hey,
you got an alternative model?
You
got
nothing.
Some more evidence? Got it. Hey, Mark Dietrich.
Falsifications independent of a.
Yeah, we falsified flat Earth. Easy.
No, you haven't.
Sunsets.
Yeah, you say that the sun doesn't move away from us. We're actually falling backwards.
People experience a sunset every day.
Yeah, and every one of them don't feel
like that. There's one thing I want to
I'm leaving. You're not going to team up on me.
There's one thing I want to hold on a second too.
We have a ground to make right now. The only way I will stay here and answer those super chats is if you shut the hell up and stop interrupting me. And this other little gamma's not going to team up with you either.
Gamma.
When I'm talking, you're going to show me the same courage.
It's a gamma.
All the super chats are
gamma.
So these people, you're going to take their money, but I'm not going to answer the question.
Gamma.
Tune.
All right. Sorry, I'll just gamma back here for a bit.
Okay, perfect.
Good boy.
Just so the audience knows, okay? I told McToon to tell his audience at the beginning of the debate I wasn't taking super chats. He couldn't resist the influx of super chats, so he didn't tell you guys. So now either I made it clear. Maybe you missed that part.
It's all right.
No, what you made clear was that you'd read them at the end of the debate.
Yes,
that you wouldn't
exactly,
interrupt
yeah.
with super. Yeah, but I told him I wasn't going to answer any of the super chats. We both know they're all going to be for me, McToon. We all know that, and you can't even resist holding up. Listen, I would have actually answered the super chats out of respect if you had held up your end of the bargain, right? But you couldn't resist. You had to debate and interrupt and mute me over and over and over. I do not have to answer your super chats.
No. You can rage quit. That's fine. That's fine.
No, it's not how's this a rage quit?
Yeah,
You're the one making me end the debate.
Go
You're
ahead,
making
go
me
ahead.
end the debate. I dismantled this guy. I dismantled this guy. Hey, do you know what the since I've said it numerous times, let's just prove that you don't even know your own model. Do you know the circumference of the earth yet?
Yeah.
Not you, McToon. I'm asking this guy.
Not off the top of my head. I don't
You know the radius of the
I don't think that,
like 20,
wait. Let's be clear. Are you asking for something you can't provide for your model? Then it's invalid.
I don't have a model.
Exactly. You fail.
Hey, is falsification
In a falsified flat Earth? Every sunset falsifies flat Earth.
Hey, Seth, is falsification independent of replacement?
Yeah, we've falsified
Is
flat
your
Earth.
name Seth?
No, it's Toon. But we falsified flat
That's
Earth
not your name. Your name is Michael. Hey, Michael, shut up.
Yeah.
Hey, Seth.
Sunsets falsify flat Earth. We've done that. It's easy.
No, actually, see,
You can't explain it.
You have to keep interrupting. Everyone that experiences a sunset, they stand on the earth not feeling like they're moving, and they see the sun move away from them in the sky.
Bob measured 15 degrees an hour.
You had to interrupt me again.
Hey, Bob. Put Bob on. I want to ask him about a 15 degree an hour drift.
Hey, there's actually over a degree variance at different latitudes.
Hey, Bob. I want to talk to you, Bob.
You guys like this guy?
Scoot to the side, Austin. I want to talk to Bob.
So fragile that you have to interrupt me constantly. This is a joke, bro. So anyway, actually,
I want Bob. Let's get Bob.
I'll answer for him. When he got 15 degrees, he actually got over a degree variance at different altitudes at the same latitude.
Did he read the?
I know. Do you want to know why that is?
I was still talking, Seth.
He misused the tool.
You can get a variance in a ring laser gyro.
You guys are
by
terrible.
taking it to different altitudes. Because it throws off the calibration. He did not recalibrate it before taking it to that new.
Were you there?
And at what point did he measure zero rotation?
Seth, you look really embarrassed, bro. So Seth, let me.
When did he measure zero rotation? I get out of
here. I'm not making McToon money. Seth, stop talking about Trevor.
When did he measure zero rotation? Hey, Bob. Bob, when did you measure zero rotation?
Why are you talking to someone else that's not in the debate?
Bob, no, he's been coaching you the whole time. Bob,
I haven't even had to read anything. He's been coaching me. What a
we've heard him. We've heard him in the background. We've heard him talking.
Dude, that's not Bob. You're an idiot.
Oh, it's not Bob. Oh, who is it?
I'm not Bob, moron.
What's up?
Oh, he's a moron. Okay.
Wow. I'm a civil engineer, asshole.
Oh, he's the not geodetic surveyor. Got it.
Oh,
he said he was a
civil engineer.
Yeah, he said civil engineer. You just made up what he wants. You're an idiot. Hey, Seth, here's the deal. Listen, what I suggest that you do is you stop bashing your own flesh and blood. The truth
I don't bash him.
Hey, Seth, I'm still talking, dude. I'm still talking. Okay. The truth is, we do not live on a magic spinning cartoon ball, dude.
That's not the truth. That's a lie.
McToon, I'm talking, man.
No, I'm just going to confront your lies. That's a lie.
Let me talk to Seth, dude.
You're a liar.
Okay, Seth, here's the deal. We have tested the Earth, okay? You claim a circumference of 24,901. Stop interrupting me. And a radius value of 3959. That requires a certain obstruction at 1.225 times the square root of observer's height in feet. It's not
ignoring
there,
refraction.
You don't count refraction.
You have to presuppose axial rotation. Refraction is our argument.
Rotation's been measured.
And it constantly fluctuates. Seth, here's the deal. You're sunken in depravity, and you need there to be no creator. The Earth's geocentric. This is what Edwin Hubble said, okay? He said that actually the fact that the Earth is the center can never be disproved, but we must avoid this at all costs. So they do not want to acknowledge that the Earth could be the center of everything. But Edwin Hubble, you ever heard of the Hubble telescope? Donated because of him.
Yeah. Danny Faulkner.
That it can never be disproven.
Hey, Austin.
Okay. So
Danny Faulkner works for Answers in Genesis.
I'm still
Christian.
Talking.
He wrote this book, Debunking Flat Earth.
Hey, there's a lot of people that claim to be Christian, so that's not what we're talking about.
Oh, no true Scotsman. Got it.
Yeah, we can. Okay. No, you're just a liar when you claim that you believe in the scriptures, but then you've been and warped in with the very creation account of the beginning. So, Seth, here's the deal. You, for a living, you spit on the scriptures, McToon. So don't let me get started on you.
Right.
Seth, here's.
Hey, Austin. Shush.
So I want to make it clear. Shush. He keeps asserting that I am bashing Trevor and insulting him. I very much am not. I'm sure he gets mad that I go on and debunk his posts, but I've never called him stupid or mentally challenged or anything like that. What Austin is claiming. If you don't believe me, you can go to his Facebook and scroll through all his flat earth posts, find my comments. I dare you to find a comment of me calling him stupid or mentally challenged or any of those things. Like, I'll say he's wrong, but the truth is, like, I will still accept him as a person and his family, even being a flat earther. He is not my enemy. Hell, you're not even my enemy. Now, Nathan is my enemy. I will. Nathan Thompson would probably better if I never actually meet him in person, because I don't want to go to jail. But a lot of what I've been doing with Trevor has been trying to warn him about Nathan Thompson. I mean, you can probably vouch for that, like, yeah, probably should have taken my warnings about Nathan Thompson. Any of us on the Globe side could have told you that he was going to screw you over. But you have trouble criticizing the people on your side of the fence.
Until you get screwed by them. Yes. All right, we're going to move on here.
Hey, McToon, I just want to clarify for the chat. Whenever I get muted over and over, and then I eventually am going to leave, that's not a rage quit. They actually had to stop the debate because they know I'll debate every single part of this fairy tale, and I will school both of them on all of it while the moderator has to debate me.
Oh, I wanted to go back, by the way, when we mentioned sunsets. So you believe a lot of the reason you believe in flat Earth is because of the Bible, correct?
No, absolutely not.
Now, do you understand that the azimuthal equidistant map with the sun and moon circling around, hovering over top of it, that goes against biblical cosmology?
Do you understand that I don't claim a model?
And okay, well, how about this?
Do you understand that I'm not going to take advice
Psalm
from about the scriptures from someone that spits on them and is a depraved atheist?
I mean, I was raised in a Christian household.
Doesn't mean you are a Christian.
I have quite in-depth knowledge of Bible.
Are you a Christian?
I've also read the book of Enoch.
Are you a Christian?
Oh, no. Not anymore.
Are you a Christian? Okay. Okay, so then you agree. You think Christianity's dumb, right?
I wouldn't go that far. I think fundamentalism is dumb. I think it's dumb to take the Bible completely literally in every case, like what flat earthers and young earth creationists do.
So you're basically saying your family.
I do not think it is dumb to have faith. I have is what you would call it, belief in belief. Where I do not necessarily believe. I don't believe in God, unless you want to get a really broad definition of God. There might be somewhere I would maybe concede that it's at least.
We know you don't believe in God. You advocate for the murder of defenseless babies in the womb that can feel pain.
It's not murder.
They can feel pain, bro. And your argument is
at a certain point they can, but
that's not what it's about, because McToon will be forced to admit that he's not.
Ooh, this isn't that debate. You're both muted right now. This is not that debate. You want to debate that? Find a time to do that somewhere. All right. This isn't that debate.
Fair enough.
Okay. So anyway, here's the deal, man. There's no empirical evidence for the Earth being a ball. Just to say over and over. Listen, no, you didn't. You looked at an apparent. Listen, you looked at an apparent location, bro. Okay, if that picture that you took with the little strings on it, if you go the next day, it will not look exactly the same. That picture no, it won't. And if you go look at the picture your own side of the argument that's on national TV, that's being taught to children that are 7 and 8 and 9, right? They're being taught Neil deGrasse Tyson. They're being taken to the planetarium, the world's biggest planetarium. They're not listening to Seth with 124 subs on YouTube. They're being taught Neil deGrasse Tyson. The whole world, world is being taught something different than what you're claiming, my friend. Okay, so stop acting like when we prop them up that you can just throw them under the bus, but still we're the stupid ones. We broke out of the indoctrination. You're in a cult. Okay. We were told to believe those people, and you're telling me that they're stupid, but we're stupid for not believing them in the same breath. Okay, you're making antithetical claims. You made an antithetical claim to the natural law of second law of thermodynamics, and then you actually just postulate a theory.
You misused the second law of thermodynamics.
Under your own admission, the general relativity is just a theory that isn't fully worked out and doesn't actually have empirical evidence that has proven it yet. But at the same time, it's able to override and supersede natural law, because that is what
you're misusing what the word theory means. You say it's just a theory that hasn't been proven yet. No, it is a theory that has predictive properties. It is incomplete. No, it doesn't. Yes, it does.
Dude, if you look at something,
tell me this. Down. So you know how you made the point earlier that they came up with it because it didn't fit the cosmological model, right? Why is it, if space is fake and it's all made up, why didn't they just make up space to fit the Newtonian model?
Okay, because you're
finding something wrong with it and being like, oh shit,
no,
we're wrong about the Newtonian model.
Lost. You're so lost, bro. What they did was they observed the sky on the less than local scale, the cosmological scale, the galaxy rotational speeds, right?
Yeah, light years away.
Hey, I'm talking.
Light
they started looking at the sky.
It's a fallacy of stolen concept.
Seth, you're saying if space is fake, why didn't they just make space up? But dude, we observe what they call space. The observations were inconsistent with Newtonian physics. They updated it to Einsteinian physics. And by the way, the galaxy rotational speeds are inconsistent with that as well. You're off by 10 to the 120th power. You had to invoke dark matter to accompany 95% of this supposed ever-expanding.
If you got a better model, just present it.
Yeah, okay. Well, here's the deal. The Earth
is
got
no model.
You got the center of everything. Here's my model. Okay, here's my model. The Earth is flat. Okay, because you know why? It's not curving anywhere, and 70% of a ball can't be level. And yet
what was that curve in Mage 2?
I'm talking. The Earth is geocentric, stationary plane. The sky resets for all recordable history over top of it around the center star. Yes, it does.
Nope. They have been watching the sky for thousands of years, and we know that the North Star has not always been Polaris, and it will not be Polaris a few thousand years from now.
Oh yeah, how do we know that?
We've measured it
because they've been measuring
it
thousands of years.
What was you didn't measure Polaris? You're an idiot.
It's been measured.
It hasn't been measured. You don't measure Polaris.
Yes, you
Stop
do.
interrupting, McCune.
Yes, you do.
Hey, Seth,
oh no, the debate's done. I'm on to reading super chats.
That's all you can do. Seth, who was it that proved that Polaris moved?
Measured. You don't prove that it moves.
So you just make up claims. You just regurgitate your side's claims, dude. We falsified the radius.
Go back to ancient civilizations that were watching the stars.
Here's my conclusion. Stop bashing Trevor, man. He's a super nice guy.
I don't bash Trevor.
Listen to me, man. Listen to me. If you disagree with your own flesh and blood behind closed doors, that's cool, right? You shouldn't be jumping on publicly dismantling
because I don't want to mislead him.
I'm talking, dude. Even if you think he's wrong, you shouldn't be doing that. And you certainly shouldn't be jumping on people's show that call him mentally retarded and that he needs help and that he needs to go get it. And then you go up there and laugh.
Who has called him mentally retarded?
All the people, all the Globers that you jump on, maybe you don't listen to them once you get off.
I've actually defended him to people who have, people who have asked if there's anything wrong, and he's
Trevor's smarter than you.
Definitely not retarded. He's smarter than you. He's a smart guy, but he was in a vulnerable state when Nathan Thompson found him.
Okay, but it has nothing to do with this. He's smarter than you. The Earth is not a magic spinning cartoon ball that defies physics. So many physics that we'd have to sit for 3 hours.
Defy physics you don't understand.
Yeah. Level means curved, McToon. We get it.
Level means
curved. That's the definition.
I have 10 definitions.
You don't like the definition. I don't care. But it's been measured. You don't like it, but it's been measured.
McToon, whenever we take elevations based off sea level, do we assume that the level is level or curved?
We assume that level is curved.
No, that's not true.
Level is curved. Elevation.
In this case,
elevation is a differential.
Talk over me. When we get elevation,
you asked me a question.
Yeah, I know.
You asked me a question there, Austin. I'm answering the question that you asked me. Elevation is relative to the curved surface that is level. That's what elevation is. You don't like it. I don't care. You have no measurements to invalidate it. I can cite measurements all day long, right? And you have none. So we're done. Hold on.
Mean flat.
We're done with the debate. I'm going to read super chats. He can listen. He can respond. He can go away. I don't care. Okay. Now he has left. That's fine. Okay. Now, I was keeping track of his claims. I could not keep track of all of them that he made and refused to support. Oh my goodness. He is so full of himself that he can't not make claims, even though he likes to say that he doesn't make claims. So, and by the way, if you don't have a model, you automatically lose. If you don't have a map, you automatically lose. If you can't explain the downward acceleration, you automatically lose. All that is automatic. You got nothing. So, Mark Dietrich Cochran, can you please ask Witsit, why does he use the anti-Semitic term grabbler constantly, especially since he is such an ardent follower of Judaic tenets? He does seem to have a lot of anti-Semitic tendencies. Maybe he gets that from Nathan.
Yeah. He's not as bad as Nathan.
He's not. I think he's maybe recovering.
Nathan's disciples tend to emulate him.
Yeah. All right, and Flat Earth Millionaire asked me many times, why did I delete his comment? I did not delete his comment on my video. I pinned his comment. And then today it disappeared. I thought that maybe he deleted it. It seems he thinks he didn't delete it. That's fine. YouTube does these things. I don't control them. I greatly disapprove of YouTube censoring right now. It's over the top and it's way too much. Connell Silverfur said, Twitsit, keep demanding globe proof because he knows that no flat earther has ever been able to present evidence of any kind of the world being flat. Absolutely. So what ? Yes, there is a measured geometric earth curve. mctoon.net/r. 6 of them there. RT96, Witsit is projecting. Rob Montgomery says, careful with those talking points, Witsit. They're antiques.
I'm a little disappointed I didn't get to. There was several other points I wanted to make.
Yeah. Well, we'll have save them for another.
This is my first live debate, by the way, and I could probably be a little bit more assertive in.
It's tough because
I kind of let him steamroll me a lot and just he probably got like 70% of the speaking time.
Yeah. So Flat Earth Millionaire, I actually to address him again, I made a web page just for you with the screenshot of the comment that somebody deleted. It wasn't me. You say it wasn't you, I'll take you on your word on that. It's on my website, mctoon.net/Tanner-Stewart. Tanner with 2 N's. Let's see. Alex Stein, who is from Conspiracy Castle, claims that Witsit is smashing this dude. I think that means he's talking a lot. Mm-hmm. I'll give him that. He talked a lot.
See, and the thing is, you can be a really good debater and still be wrong. That's the thing about formal debates. The winner is not necessarily right. I can be I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. Let's see. Baron Von G says, Witsit, cholera level mouth diarrhea nonsense at fast speed. We all got covered. All Hat No Cattle. A super chat from somebody named All Hat No Cattle, which of course is the real name for Flat Earth Millionaire. That's his actual name. All Hat, first name, last name, No Cattle. Says, impressive gish gallop, bro. Now show the math. He claimed things were reverse engineered and never showed how that happened. So, Anamorphic Mind for $5 says, Witsit just needs a hug after his breakup with Nathan. You can do better. Don't go back, man. Be strong. We can all agree on this for you, Austin. Don't go back.
I am on his side with the Nathan issue. I am on his side with him being arrested under an unjust law. Other than that, he's wrong about almost everything.
Yeah. People, where's my formula for nothing causing gravity? That's not how it works. The law of gravitational attraction is a law like the first, second, third, and 0th law of thermodynamics, the 3 laws
Dare we
of motion.
say a natural law?
Yes, they are natural laws. We observe things and document them and see if they work, and they do, and then it becomes a law. So Snell's law, yeah, there's no this is why it works. It's just an observation. That's what laws are. So Connell Silverford claims ball earth is a lie, no proof of said lie. Again, Connell Silverford says fallacy of stolen concept. Tyson is not a flurf. Yeah, if you're gonna cite Tyson, then I mean you bring everything he says. You should. Just to cherry pick one thing from him is very much a lie. It's deceptive. It's deceitful, Austin. You missed Unite for the Children. If NDT was right when he said you wouldn't see curvature at X elevation, then he has to be accepted as right when he says it ain't flat, bro. Back to the stolen concept there. Yes. Cherry pick. They love to cherry pick. Dengo's Den for $5 says, much love, Austin. Keep bringing the truth, brother. It was all lies. MC Tune had to jump in. Lol, what a tune. Yeah. Let's see. Bryantology 69. Witsit, Pressure BS is an argument from ignorance. Yeah, he did say, now he didn't, even though he broke up with Austin, he didn't leave off the antecedent to pressure is a physical container, which is from Nathan. They still share that. But I don't know who gets possession of that. Maybe that'll get decided in the courts, right? Who gets the kids? Robeeb, someone told Austin he was dumb once when he was a kid. Now we watch him mauled and cope over getting told he doesn't understand. It's pretty sad to see. He may have had some things in his childhood. I don't know. I certainly have my thoughts about Nathan. Connell Silverfur says, Austin, where are your flat earth measurements? Nowhere. I don't have a model. And then falsification is independent of what was the word he said?
I'm not even sure.
Yeah, falsification is independent of whatever. Sunsets. It's the easy one, and an elementary school kid can figure this out. When does the sun cross the horizon at full angular size if the earth is flat? It cannot. The earth, the sun would do ellipses in the sky. It doesn't. Stars would do ellipses. It doesn't. Or they don't. You would not see.
The poles make it even.
You'd see one celestial pole. Instead, we see two. These are all falsifications of flat Earth. It's really what you need to do, Austin, is focus on those things because it's been falsified over and over and over again. You misunderstand and intentionally ignore refraction for the black swan. It doesn't falsify anything.
I don't know why he wants. He's so insistent that we get that. That we see the geometric horizon when, like, you will never see the geometric horizon as long as there is atmosphere there. That I don't know why that's so hard for him to understand.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Flat Earth Millionaire. There he is. Infinite land, Star Wars and Star Trek on Flat Earth. No, more land, aliens, gasoline, 5 cents a gallon, gold $1 an ounce. The thing is, yeah, Admiral Byrd didn't say what you think he said. Iron Republic and ancient Buddhist map. It doesn't matter. It's just claims. Go there. Go get a plane. If you got the money, go get a plane. Fly. You can do it. You know, you'll have to get some permits. No big deal. Okay. Sir, for $5 says, basically, Austin asks a question that interrupts the answers repeatedly because he can't understand it. Typical flirf nonsense. Yeah. Angie, new member. Thank you very much, Angie. Seek Truth, Speak Truth for £5 says, Witsit. Is there a type of evidence for a sphere that you wouldn't deny? He asked you for a visual curve. What did you give him?
Yeah. Mage 2 is probably the best one.
Visual curve.
Yeah, and then he tried to go with, oh, that's not the geometric horizon. Now, when you're that high in the atmosphere, there is so little refraction you're going to be seeing from that angle that the geometric and apparent horizons will basically be the same thing. And that's still we're still talking about a different axis of curvature too. Like I said, with refraction, we're talking about this curvature. With Mage 2, you could see this curvature.
Yeah, exactly. But he didn't like it. So he, rather than saying, oh, thank you, you gave me exactly what I asked, he denied that you could even provide a photograph of the thing that he wanted to see. That's sea lioning right there. Asking a question that he knows he will reject. So, all right. Angel Gamer says slow mode 33 seconds. Yeah, I didn't do that. So, yeah, it got busy in there, didn't it? Kyle Silverfur for $2. No more word salad. Witsit. I had dinner. we all got a lot of salad. I'm getting a little full.
I mean, some of Hugh Jarvis's word salad cream.
That's right. Oh, Dr. Peel says Flat Earth Millionaire is not allowed to leave the state. His probation officer will be against it. Is that true, Flat Earth Millionaire? You should definitely post your criminal record. Now, did you know? So, did you see the movie Level?
I've seen
yes or no?
I've seen reviews of it.
Okay,
and right. The clips that were in it. I have not watched it in its entirety.
So Tanner Stewart claimed that made claims about NASA, and you can't trust NASA because a subset of the people that were in it, starting in the 50s,
Paperclip, is that what he's?
Paperclip and previous ties to, they came from Germany, right? Mm-hmm. So somehow the entire organization is tainted because of the reputation of a subset of them. So I asked Flat Earth Millionaire, would you just share your criminal record with everybody so that we can use your same metric of judgment about the Flat Earth movie Level? Because for a subset of the people, right? So maybe Flat Earth Millionaire, we could get your criminal record and maybe ODD TV's criminal record. I know that those two would be the ones that I'd be interested in seeing. Maybe there's some others. Don't know, but those are the ones that I would think that maybe we could use your metric to judge the entire movie with that. What do you think, Flat Earth Millionaire? What about it, Tanner? What do you got, Tanner? Nothing? You're probably not going to want to actually apply your metric to that movie, are you? 3 Rons for $5 says, all Witsit has is Gish Gallop, word salad and lies. Horizon is not the curve. The curve is everywhere. Yeah, the horizon is a result of the curve. If it wasn't, you'd just see blur, because nothing would ever be hidden. It'd just get farther away and through more and more air. Surf, so how about that evidence Witsit was getting? He never did. He was going to share his screen somehow. Oh, he did send us that thing from Harvard that said that they 3D modeled and it's pretty good. Mm-hmm. And then this is how dumb he is. He thinks that's a debunk. It's not a debunk. Here's what a debunk is. How does it work on Flat Earth? Don't know. That's a debunk. Robeat, it's convenient when Skeptic freezes, but it's just coincident with when Austin freezes. He's full of double standards. What a moron. Oh, Alyssum, give him my offer. Let's hear his excuses. The offer Alyssum has for him is to come to Australia, and Alyssum will teach him how to navigate, how to fly a plane. There you go. The Sun Express for $10 says, behold, a witless Muppet. Indeed. Pentalica, Witsit, can you show us the correct way of measuring the Earth with the results being flat and stationary?
Looks flat to me.
That's it. That's all you got. Let's see. I want to make sure we're not getting. So hold on. LB stuff things and more. Deleted a message from Frank being Frank, saying Skeptic Dank, email me if you like. Frank being Frank 2020@gmail.com. I'd love to have a conversation with you, a very new creator. So that sounds legit.
We were talking in the comments on my channel. I will get his.
You got his email?
Yeah, I'm just. Let me.
I'll text it there. Send it to you.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Yep.
Yeah, we were talking about the Cleveland Museum of Natural History earlier. Because I put a little promo video on my channel. One of the things is a Foucault pendulum. I might even do a longer video just about that, but the one they have in Cleveland has there's a little electromagnetic in the middle base of it that keeps it going, and I'm sure flat earthers will jump all over that saying, oh, well, they're using a magnet to make it, even though it wouldn't work that way, because it's right in the middle, just keeping it swinging. It's not doing anything to change the direction.
Yeah, and actually the schematics are publicly available.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Somebody's saying, DKG Custom saying, that Flat Earth Watertown, New York should debate me. Maybe he means Flat Earth Millionaire, because I already had Flat Earth Watertown, New York, which is Donnie Lee. He was on my show twice. Rachel Everson wants a video or live feed of the Earth spinning. Himawari 8. Just Google it. So that's not that hard. Actually, the Dish TV had one back on a satellite that I think has now been decommissioned. So, all right. Let's see. 3 Ron says for $2 Gamma, while Witsit will never be a man. Oh. Can he be a real boy someday, though? Mr. Unite for the Children for $2 from MC2, and you're such a theta, bro. Bro. Mike Billar says Wits is a total epsilon. Just picking random Greek letters, huh? Mr. Tube, first name Fa, and with the middle initial Q, says the globe earther is a gamma. Well, I guess the Earth is flat then. And then, I like this one. 3 Ron says Witsit couldn't dismantle a Lincoln log house. All right. Alyssum says, wait, if the R value is made up, why do we have to account for it whenever I navigate? And why is it functional? And it gives me accurate results. Here's the thing. Austin thinks that the only time that the radius of the Earth was measured was by Alberundi. No. That's one of the times. That's an old time. And Eratosthenes maybe was a myth, maybe not. That method works. I've done it 4 times. And I also hypothesized in that measurement that the Earth is flat and falsified flat Earth. But the math is beyond Austin. He couldn't.
And again, he keeps talking about back engineering, but if we try to back engineer it into flat Earth, it breaks apart.
No worky. So yeah, it's Globebusters, who's scared also, was here. That's Super Noodle Doodle. He used to be a pilot, a single engine certification, even though he lied about having a multi-engine certification in the FE convention 2018, I think. Still on archive.org. You can still see his claim about that. When you plot routes, when you're going to go somewhere in an airplane, you need to know how much fuel to put in the plane. And in order to do that, you need to know the distance between points. And in order to calculate the distance between points, you need to use a formula. That's the Haversine formula. It is a spherical trigonometry formula. It is not a planar formula, which would be something like the polar distance formula or Pythagorean theorem.
I had someone the other day make the claim that the flight times work because in the southern hemisphere they're using super secret technology to make planes that are going like 800 miles an hour or whatever.
Oh, you got a lot of flurf, don't you?
Yep.
All right. Richard Walker can't beat a nice side of Witsit word salad. What dressing do you put on Witsit word salad?
I don't know. I like to go with something a little bit spicy sometimes.
I just go blue cheese. It's yeah. Let's see. Mr. Tube again says, could the Flurf be any more condescending? He is. Is he the most? He could be.
Again, I think he's still more just emulating Nathan Thompson. I think Nathan Thompson.
Yeah, he was still condescending before him, and before the bromance. I debated him back in 2019, November or December of 2019, and even then he was condescending. Though he did admit after that I won. So I like that. I have that screenshot here still. Let's see. Mr. Unite for the Children says, back in Sparta, malformed, undesirable children like Witsit, naughty, would have been thrown over the cliff. Not that anything's wrong with that. There might be something wrong with that. I did see 300 as well. Jeez. P. Barnes for 10 Australian says, I can picture Witsit when the camera stops, pulling out a shaving mirror and continuing the argument with himself. Oh my gosh. Okay. Is Flat Earth Millionaire, I'm abusing his, all right. Flat Earth Millionaire, I did not give you that to abuse it, but I guess I should know better than to trust you. So people, please still don't time him out or block his stuff. I'll if I think it needs it, I'll take it out. But so there you go, Flat Earth Millionaire. You abused it. I gave you the trust, and you dashed it on the ground. Oh well. I mean, you can't trust a Flurf. But Conspiracy Castle, which is Alex Stein. He used a different account. Or it says Austin demolished the slob. Sad day for the globe. Here's the thing. The globe is still the globe, and it's still not flat, no matter what.
I mean, this is my first live debate.
Yeah.
I did my best. It's a little bit hard to do much against just a bunch of gish gallops and word salads. If he would address my the evidence that I put forward. Also, I had more evidence I could have used, but he was very good at steering the conversation in the direction where he wanted it to be.
Yeah, he deflects away from evidence to just he's very good at denial. That's his skill. He denies all evidence, completely against what science is. Yeah, I see. Tanner, Skydiver Tanner, don't block the other Tanner, Flat Earth Millionaire Tanner. Just because you got the same name and you're salty because he has the same name.
It can only be one.
It's not, yeah. Twitsit from Connell Silver for Twitsit is 10 to the negative 17 a negative number. I'm sure
thought about asking that.
I'm sure he would deflect from that, most likely. American Gamer says bromide gas. That was maybe about the gases that distribute. Yeah, that was a Nathan Oakleyism there that he opening a container and it will instantaneously, it's
And like
not
that's
instant. You
is
could
he
say-
saying that it like the gas suddenly all teleports out because there's dispersing involved, would mean it kind of radiates out. It's not instantaneous. In fact, depending on what kind of gas it is, you can watch it do that, largely because of refraction. You can see the fumes and such.
Yeah. Hey, this is an interesting thing. Apophis Rex is saying that Watertown and Millionaire are at an impasse regarding the infinite plane. Watertown thinks that there's a dome. Flat Earth Millionaire thinks that there's not, and that there's an infinite plane, and that I should let them hash it out on panel. Hey guys, I'll send you a link, both of you, and you two can go at it. You can, what do you say, guys? I'll wait for their response. David Oliver for £5. Witsit doesn't understand the second law of thermodynamics. That is absolutely the case.
I was trying to throw it out there too. He kept misusing it, but he was usually talking over me when I was trying to make that point.
Yeah, no flat earther does. They think they do because they heard some other flat earthers say that certain things
It has to do with the
violate it.
flow of energy. It has nothing to do with equalizing pressure.
Give my offer to Skeptic's relative from Alyssum. Oh, Skeptic's relative, it would be on Trevor Mishler that have him come down to Australia. Flat Earth Watertown, New York has accepted. It's to you, Tanner. Come on, Tanner Stewart. You want to come on here and debate Flat Earth Watertown, New York about infinite plane and domes? Can you imagine? I mean, Tanner won't. I know he won't, but it'd be so funny because Tanner is what? Remember? All hat, no cattle. That's Tanner Stewart, all hat, no cattle. I mean, you can see in his video, he's got the hat on and there's dogs pooping in his yard. That's all he's got. So, all right, I gotta keep moving. Let's see. Saeed Ahmed says, MC Toon, can you ask Nathan Light to calm down, please? Mr. Tube says, oh, great. I'm out of word salad dressing. Oh, let's see. Noodling the night away. That'd be great, but you'd have to offer them money. I don't think I can offer money to Tanner Stewart. I think he actually has money, so I'm not gonna. Oh, Flat Earth Watertown, New York said, MC Toon, I hope your house burns. So rude. But what do you expect? What do you expect? That's.
Well, I hope you have really good insurance then.
Yeah. I'm fully covered. I don't know. So I guess it's just a house. I mean, it's kind of rude though, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Donnie, I'm not going to wish that on you. I'll be the better man.
Also, the Earth would still be a globe.
Yes, that would not change anything. All right, people, do not time out. Flat Earth Millionaire. I want to see him not accept the debate with Donnie. How did Tanner make his money? That's a great question, Tanner. Maybe you could explain that. I think I know. Has I managed to get in contact with the pilot friend of the Flatty you debated a few days ago? Unsurprisingly, the pilot friend has not come about, but I'll ask. PhD Tony says, as a professional geophysicist, what's it? Sorry, I fell asleep there. I just got a touch of narcolepsy. Witsit with formal training in geomagnetism. You don't know what you're talking about. So there you go. PhD Tony is a professional geophysicist with formal training in geomagnetism. Austin, you are a first quarter college drop out. Not that you couldn't learn, but you've chosen to anti-learn.
To be fair, I basically am too, but it was for like financial reasons, not because my grades were great.
The point is, somebody that actually really knows his stuff versus somebody that clearly doesn't know his stuff and didn't learn it, but thinks he learned it and learned the wrong stuff. That's the problem. So I don't have a problem with anybody being self-taught.
It would be like
Perfectly
a first grader. It'd be like a first grader telling a mathematician that you can't do 5 minus 6.
Yeah. We got Witsit doesn't get it in the chat. Love that. Where did I saw Donnie say something, I think. Where'd it go? He said, yes, I said that. He's owning that he wished my house to burn down. I guess that's what we get from Flatties.
Is he allowed to do that on YouTube? I feel like that's...
We're in America. It's pretty...
I guess it's not technically a threat.
Yeah,
so.
He didn't say he was going to do it. So, I mean,
True.
I could say, Donnie, I hope you get an ingrown hair on your butt. It's not as bad as saying I wish your house had burned down, but I could say that, right? I'm not, Donnie. I hope you don't get an ingrown hair on your butt. I hope it's somewhere less painful than your butt. I mean, you don't get one. I mean, I hope you don't get one. All right, DKG Custom for £2 says I didn't get the memo. Did he?
But maybe more visible.
Yeah. Did he? Hannah Anderson, what a crybaby! What a crybaby! Witsit is, yes. He if he can't get his 7,000 words in, he just whines and whines. But this is the 5th time I've encountered him live, and I mean he never brings evidence.
He interrupted me plenty, but for me to get any word in edgewise, I had to a bit sometimes. Like if I would have never interrupted him, this whole thing would have just been a Witsit monologue.
Well, yeah, and I mean, have you seen his videos? It's like it is just a monologue of it never stops. I don't know how he breathes. Oh, hold on, somebody got timed out. I don't like stole it. I don't why is that LB stuff things and more? Don't be more careful.
He
cancer.
Stumbling over my words at one point too.
Yeah. It is what he is trying to do, is to try to get you worked up. So
the thing is it's kind of how I am. I can't really I can't help that I'm not very good verbally if I don't have something that I'm like reading in front of me. I've always been kind of a slow talker, almost a little bit of a stammer sometimes. I'm sorry, I'm not super eloquent like Witsit is.
I think you're being a little generous by saying super eloquent, but that's fine. He can pick lots of words quick. So let's see. DKG Custom about the memo was about super chats and Witsit. Yes. Whinging about getting super chats that you didn't get the memo. Yeah, he had said coming in that he won't answer super chats basically, but so to nobody's surprise, like, does he ever? When he's on with Modern Day Debates, does he answer? No, he doesn't. He can't. He has no model. He has lost before the debate started. If you don't have a model, you don't have anything, Austin. Right? The falsification is independent. No. You haven't falsified anything though. You just didn't understand things.
Has to assert that everything's made up, and if I haven't made a direct primary measurement myself, then it doesn't count.
Yeah, apparently that's the only way to do it. A direct physical primary measurement that you did is the only thing he'll accept. Of course, He didn't.
And then
do
he'll
that
say I'm
either.
lying.
Then he didn't do that either. Yeah, it's still going to hand wave. All right. Mike Biller says for $5, we don't care if you don't answer the super chats. They're Austin. They're rhetorical anyways. We all know you won't answer honestly. Just nice timing on that. OG Goblin for $3 says for Tune to not answer bros super chats. Oh, that's awesome. Angel Gamer says for $5, this is not for Austin. Just want to say that Skeptic Dank has glorious hair and beard.
Thank you. I actually could have trimmed up a little bit, but I didn't get around to that.
Have you ever gone for just the neck beard? Please say no.
No.
Thank you. Good.
I did a few years ago have to shave for work because at the time I was working in a position where I had to wear a respirator. But I had like a few days where I could do it. So each day I would shave off. I started with I just shaved my chin and had these huge mutton chops. And then after that I shaved here. So I had a big old handlebar
Oh my goodness.
Fu Manchu, I think that's what it. Yeah, I had a little bit of fun beard smithing, but
Beard
I like just
That's
having
nice.
a full beard.
Oh. All right. We got Connell Silver first. Says, Dank, this one's for you. You've got the patience of a saint. Austin is a rude little troll, and you have been incredibly gracious.
Thank you.
There you
I've
go.
been told, but I've even been told by people that I am infuriatingly patient, especially by people who are trying to trigger me. They end up triggering themselves by failing to trigger me. And I think we kind of saw some of that tonight.
Yeah. All right. I need to, all right. I'm going to make sure while I'm doing that, I'm going to make sure that I don't have anybody blocked that from the channel that I don't want blocked. 3-Rod, they wouldn't interrupt you if you weren't a POS. To Austin. Yes, apparently he is a point of sale system. Maybe there's a different POS that he means. I don't know. Mike Billars, Witsit, why does Polaris decrease 1 degree for every 111 kilometers south you go? How does that work on a flat plane? It doesn't. It falsifies it, which is independent of replacement.
I did the math and had you bring it up too. It does not work on a flat Earth, even if you try to back engineer it into a flat Earth.
Yeah. So we got what question mark is in there. That's fine. Hey, Angel Gamer, that's fine. I don't have a problem with him saying that. He's not being abusive. He's making unsubstantiated claims and denial. Whatever. It embarrasses them. Let them embarrass themselves. Humphrey Pushcart, I love that. Says, golly, Cletus, you are a little more than a bully parroting words and concepts that you do not grasp. Cletus being Austin. Tim Pryor for 5 says, complains about being muted and people talking over him, but won't be quiet long enough for anybody to say anything.
That's probably intentionally part of his strategy.
Oh yeah.
Keep talking and using all of the big words and say you're asking a question, but just throw a word salad that's asking like 4 different questions and then interrupt as soon as you start attempting to answer.
Yep. All right. I'm still trying to get in there. Okay. Let me go full screen for this one here. Matt Powell has a giant inflatable banana in his backyard that he named Dr. Peel.
I actually think this whole thing is a conspiracy by Ray Comfort to no longer be the banana guy.
Yeah, it could be. Poor Ray.
Either that or he's very jealous now that he is no longer the banana guy and he misses being the banana guy.
All right. That was from Facty. Thank you, Facty. I was gonna try to say that this stream. Humphrey Pushcart again says, discount Kent Hovind, only louder and dramatically, as if possible, more ignorant. Fohammer 335 says, good job debating Dank. You did really well.
Thank you. I feel like I could have done better. More just in the air. I guess I don't really know how I would have been able to go about not letting him steamroll me, because I'm not really sure. It's kind of hard to do that and also not turn this into just a shouting match.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want that to become this, because I wanted to specifically show like that I am remaining calm while he is not. And if I would have tried to take an equal amount of time, it would have just become a shouting match.
Yeah. All right, let's see. I got a couple people that I removed from the block list. LB Stuff, Things, Stuff, and More says, Seth, you are great. FEM, that's Flat Earth Millionaire, is a grifter. And Witsit, and then a face that's got X's in for the eyes. There you go. Old School for $5 just has a chat. Thank you, Old School, for that. Was it removed? I saw what, oh, there it is. The Earth has an infinite plane, no edge, according to Flat Earth Millionaire. So cats haven't knocked everything off. There you go. Delcos Man, who, all right, so I was initially going to debate Wotan, and then Wotan went MIA on Modern Day Debate. And then Nathan thought, there's a big mess with that. Look on my Facebook. Nathan thought that he was going to be debating me when I had not agreed to that.
Right. Did Nathan ever show up tonight?
No, I didn't see him.
Oh, man, so, how disappointing.
Oh, it's so sad. So sad. So anyway, so Delcos debated Wotan instead. So Delco is good. So I don't know how that went yet. I'm assuming that it was a demolish of Wotan, but that's what Wotan likes. He's into that, I guess. So yeah, I think I'm hoping it was really good. I'm gonna watch that later. So I know some people don't like Modern Day Debate. The things that people level against Modern Day Debate, I think, can be leveled against many of our other channels. I think he should not have Nathan on, because Nathan or Austin, they just dominate, and that's a problem. So anyway, Delco says, got Wotan.
They're gonna take that soundbite and use that against you as if you're saying that they are right and crush everyone in debate.
Whatever. Delco says, got Wotan to argue a cube is flat, so job well done in my book. Weird. Okay. Frank Being Frank is a new member. Thank you very much, Frank. Old School for another $1. And then the one that I read earlier about no playing and the cats knocking everything off. So thank you for those. Delco says one more time, he says, next time be sure to bring saltines. A parrot as skilled as him deserves a treat. Polly, what a cracker. A digital demonic Davros says, I could debate Toon, but my malice would sway.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Like, it sounds beautiful, but I'm not sure what you're getting.
It's like poetic even.
Yeah.
So, all right, that's it. I caught up with the super chats. Austin will be so mad. He's like, you just do it for the super chats. Hey, I like the super chats. Thank you very much for them. I appreciate it. And if you didn't super chat, I would do it anyway. And Austin, who begs for money, doesn't like super chat. I don't get that, because, begging for money, I think, is a bit more forward than accepting a super chat. I don't know, whatever. Joey Rocha. Hi, Joey. You're silly. So, I thought about doing an after show, but we're, or about addressing Nathan Thompson's lies. What do you think? Would Nathan show up if I had a stream named Nathan, Nathan Thompson's Lies, Lies, and More Lies. Would
I'm sure he searches his name enough, he'd probably find it.
He might show up, but he leveled quite a few lies today, and I think I will do that. So here's what I'm going to do in 15 minutes. I'm going to do that. So at 11 o'clock my time, and I will, and hopefully, let's see, hopefully he gets the I'll send him an email. Hopefully he gets the memo. So DKG Custom says, here's another F them, £2. Thank you, DKG. And then LB's Things, Stuff, and More. Seth, will you do more debates?
Probably. This is my first one. In Flat Earth, and then creationism versus evolution would probably be another one I'd be interested in. Now, the thing is, if we're doing a formal debate, counterintuitively, I would rather do a formal debate on something that is not debatable. Versus if we're going to do something that has more nuance, I would rather it be more of a chill discussion. Like we're going to talk like politics or economics or, social issues. That's kind of stuff I'd rather sit down and have just a healthy back and forth, because no one has all of the information, and sometimes an exchange of information can allow both sides to refine their own views. But if it's something where they're just straight up denying the information, then that is when not that anyone's minds are likely to be changed. Like in this, I'm sure there was no one that was convinced to cross the fence. I just find it mentally stimulating to try to come up with ways to explain physics to 7-year-olds.
You're shooting a little high there for a lot of fun. All right, well, there is that. Did I put I think I did put, I'll be sure it is, your link to your channel in the description. Yeah, I even gave Witsit a shout out there. Anything you want to say before we go?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on. I know it was a little bit complicated getting this whole thing set up, because originally it was going to be on Irish Demon's channel, but for
he's not
technical
set up to host.
For the setup reasons, I figured it would actually be better to have you, and you were gracious enough to host for us. And it was despite any accusations of clout chasing, it was Witsit who challenged me initially. And the whole thing about him with being friends with my cousin and accusing me of bashing him, where I've been very clear. We were talking about it one time on your channel a while back, and I was very clear. Like, me and the rest of my family love Trevor, and we want him back. He's none of us, we will still accept him as a person regardless of what he believes. I have never called him stupid or mentally challenged. I have even defended him on a few occasions of people who I thought took it way too far and were not being helpful. So I don't know what Witsit is talking about when he accuses me of those things. And I would love to see him, show even just a screenshot or something. Like all my comments should still be on Trevor's Facebook.
Witsit never supports his claims. That is rule number 1 with Austin. Never support his claims.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Well, there it is. So in about 10 minutes, I will be going over some stuff about Austin. Not Austin. Austin's ex-bromance, Nathan. So be looking for that. I just made it live. People can see that now. You should be able to pop into the chat, start talking, if somebody wants to pop in here, the link to it, that'd be super. So there it is. Thanks everybody. And we'll see you soon.
All right. Thanks everyone.